What is up, team? And welcome back to the Technical Foul Podcast. As always, you're joined by the three of us. I'm Jack Anderson. To my right is JP Pusilowski, repping Sequoia High School. And to my left is Sanders Oakley, repping Mississippi State, as kind of always, to be honest.
I don't know. I think I can remember one shirt. I have two shirts that I've worn that are not.
Wow.
Breaking news, Tucker Medlin will be in Davis Wade.
So that's a heater off the start. Maybe not in Davis Wade. He doesn't have a ticket yet.
Okay, we will. I will do everything in my power to find you a ticket, Tucker.
Yeah, I'll text right now.
That is huge. That's so exciting.
I
Tucker
look forward to
Medlin
seeing you,
live
Tucker.
appearance at the Sunday show. A studio audience. That's exciting, Tucker. I can't wait. I'm sorry if they were unforeseen circumstances,
Yeah,
but
hopefully,
very happy that you will be here.
hopefully the family is still together. It's not, nothing happened and cause a split.
Yeah.
Or what's the
feud,
word?
a family feud.
Schism? What word am I looking for there?
I don't.
Someone
A
help me
rift.
out.
A rift.
No, but I'm looking for something else too.
That's the right word.
Rift is much better than schism.
But is schism even
I
a
don't even know
word?
the definition. It is a word. I don't know
Can
the
we look up
definition. of it.
schism, please?
I'm pulling up schism as we. How do you? Is that CH? I feel like it's a CH.
SCHISM.
A split or division between strongly opposed sections or parties. That's impressive.
Thank
That's impressive.
I don't
All
know
right.
if it's applicable.
I don't. How do you pronounce? Hold on. Let
you.
me.
Schism. I think I'm right.
That's how you pronounce
Yeah.
it.
Schism.
Anyway,
Wow.
I look forward to seeing you, Tucker.
That's a crazy one to pull out. I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you. I know ball in terms of vocabulary, and then I can't pronounce or spell any of it right, so it kind of falls by the wayside pretty quick. But yeah, real quick before
The
I ask y'all
introduction.
how y'all are doing, I changed something up in the introduction.
What did you change up? You did it with
I
a
was
lot
about
more
to ask.
enthusiasm.
He said team.
I said team instead
Oh.
of guys.
What is up, team? Oh wow, I didn't notice. I noticed you had a lot more enthusiasm. Were you just excited about the new?
I've tried to add more enthusiasm into the intro recently in general.
What is
because
up, guys? Yeah, I
who wants
noticed
to start a podcast and be like, "What is up, guys?" and welcome back.
That does sound
Like-
a lot more like the first month of the podcast.
Yeah, well, there's just been a lot of variance, so I'm trying
Yeah.
to hone it in and
Mhm.
and really get dialed. And team probably will be a permanent staple.
Yeah, that's very you.
So
it's very us.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it. That's a good improvement.
With
But
that being
the
said,
enthusiasm was tangible. That's what I noticed.
I appreciate it. Also, you had me tripped up. I'm looking at the screens.
Oh, don't look at this.
It still had the countdown up, so I
Oh.
didn't know if you panned over, but we rode and got it done pretty well.
Yeah.
How has y'all's day been? With that being said,
Pretty good. What's today? Thursday. Went to the gym for the first time in a couple months because I've been so sedentary. Because now I work from home, and so I just kind of sit at my desk and then we'll hang out or I'll watch sports. But I do nothing, and so I was
Sure.
like, it's time for me to do something about that. So I went to the gym for an hour. Very fun. I feel like the good sore where it's like you used your body, but not you're not miserable. So I feel very good right now. Other than that, getting ready for the huge weekend in Starkville with special appearances from one Tucker Medlin. But I'm not going to get into that because that'll be part of our Mississippi State versus Tennessee preview.
sure.
But yeah, play
Any-
some video games.
As someone that is on the inside, are there any big things coming for this game, or just kind of more of the same?
I think just more of the same. And
Okay.
if there were big things coming,
I know you
I
would-
probably wouldn't
I know
be
you.
able to
Well, I know you
talk-
couldn't say, but you could just be like, "Yes, something's coming."
I don't even think I can't
Okay.
remember.
I mean, the university confirmed Apache helicopters.
Yeah.
will fly over.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I can confirm that we need to ring our bells responsibly, but everyone knows that because everyone in the athletic department has been tweeting that.
I'm not
they've
going to
been
be doing
They've
that.
been
Sorry.
pleading. It's a lost cause.
It-
If y'all are up 3 with 5 minutes left in the fourth,
Yeah, I mean,
who's resting the bell and
I'm
just
not.
yelling?
So if I were in that situation, I would. It would be a situation where I'm going the entire game ringing responsibly, and then in that clutch time, just screw it. But if we go the entire game, cowbells have been taken away from us before, they can be taken away again. So as someone who wants to be able to ring
Could y'all
cowbells every
argue
game,
that violates y'all's First Amendment right? Does
No.
ringing cowbell count as
no,
speech? Okay.
absolutely not. There are rules about artificial noisemakers, etc.
I mean, I figured I was just
No, you good.
just
So
joshing.
The
peop-
government doesn't control the NCAA, so that the First Amendment doesn't apply.
The NCAA also doesn't really control anyone either, though, as we've kind of learned.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Tucker says SEC ADs are soft. I'm going to say my quick bit about this. if another school had an artificial noisemaker and we weren't allowed to have it, I would be pissed. Like it would frustrate me that they have an advantage, right? They can be, I don't know what the measurement of sound out of a cowbell is, but 2-3 times as loud as we can with the same number of people. That is an unfair advantage, and I would be pissed if I were an opposing fan and I was at that disadvantage. And so for all the state fans to be like, wow, these opposing teams are soft, like I just don't think any of our fans or anybody is putting themselves in anyone else's shoes, which I think is pretty just stupid because like we're not addressing the reality, which is we would be pissed if Ole Miss had vuvuzelas, zuzuzelas, whatever they're called. The long horns they use in soccer.
I don't know what they're called.
Vuvuzelas.
I'm thinking like a can full of beans or something.
Yeah. So if other schools had artificial noisemakers and we had to go play there and we didn't have we would be upset. And so I think that people are not under like recognizing that there's some validity to the frustration, especially when there are rules that we break. Like I don't know if I'd call it being soft.
Be less rational, Sanders.
Yeah, that is a flaw of mine, is rationality. Not all the time, but at least in this situation, because it's been something that's like been like I've thought about for years. So
anyway, I anticipate a longer show. So real quick, JP, how's your day been? And then we can get into it.
It's been going good.
Bet.
I don't feel the same amount of hype for this weekend as I did for the Arizona State weekend. It doesn't feel that way on campus either. But it's been good. And speaking of like wearing my Sequoia gear, I walked by someone who went to my high school today, and I didn't say hi to him. Like we don't really know each other much. And he gave me a weird look as I walked by, and now I understand why he gave me a weird look.
He didn't recognize you?
He didn't recognize me, and I was wearing his high school. So that was I'm sure
but you
an
recognized
awkward experience. Yes.
Okay.
I had a class with him.
Gotcha.
That's crazy. In high school, not college.
In high school,
Okay.
yes.
He maybe has figured it out by now. Maybe it just took him a second. It wasn't an immediate
I was wearing
recognition
what I'm
of
wearing
you.
right now, so
Yeah.
Yeah, that does happen though. Sometimes you pass someone and you're like, huh? And then you walk another few steps and like it clicks. Like after they're out of sight, it just like makes sense.
There's
Well-
got to be more than just the two of y'all from y'all's college here, or from y'all's high school here.
there's only 3 of us that I know,
Okay.
me
Gotcha.
being included.
So I technically am correct, more than the 2, but
Yes.
not by much. Cool. Well, you'll kind of know the drill by now, but we're going to start off the show looking at the People's Top 25. Sanders will walk us through that. Then we'll get to the Mississippi State preview. We'll have a couple other big games to preview, including the Technical Foul Fan Game of the Week, and then JP's best bets for the weekend. But Sanders, take us away with the Top 25.
Yeah, so this is the People's Poll. We do this every week. We vote in it. Y'all should go vote in it. It's super easy. T25sports.com. Throw your ballot in there, and then it like spits out a consensus, which is all of ours, and it kind of works like the AP. So we all get a voice. We all get a say. It's super fun. I'll get right into it. I see now that we have 9 ballots. When I made this graphic probably an hour or 2 ago, we only had 8. So apologies to whoever the most recent voter was. You are not included in the numbers currently, but you are still on the website. So it's still shown. It just won't be like entirely up to date. So this is what's crazy. 8 voters, a 9th since I made the graphic, but 8 voters, 18 teams appeared on every single person's ballots. The previous high was, I believe, 14.
Yeah, so big jump.
Huge jump, a lot more consistency, kind of unexpected. Really was not expecting that. And then only one team was on 7 of the 8 ballots. So 18 teams, everyone agrees should be ranked. And then only one team where like one person left them off. And then beyond that, that would be, I guess, 6 teams where there's some disagreement. We've got some teams with like 4 out of 8 votes, 6 out of 8, 5 out of 8. The one team that did not appear on every ballot but almost did was Iowa State. And I'm sensing a trend. It was Steelboy Voter, who's a known Iowa fan, right? So
Correct.
there might be some hate ranking going on potentially.
Spite, yeah.
Yeah,
I
spite
can see that.
ranking. So that's a possibility, but they're the only team that was one ballot short of being on every ballot. Other teams so conference breakdown, we've got 3 ACC teams, 3 Big 12, 7 Big 10, 11 SEC, and Notre Dame reemerges in the top 25. They are the one independent team ranked this week. So we lose a Big 12 team, add the independent. We're still at 11 SEC teams in the top 25, which is crazy. Still 7 Big 10. Other big movements, we got some highlights. Texas Tech moves up 7 after their big win on the road at Utah. Pretty valid in my opinion. Indiana jumps from unranked to 11th. So they do not crack the top 10, but they jump 16 spots. 15 spots. If you count unranked, it's the 26th spot. So they jump 15 spots from unranked to 11. Texas and Notre Dame both drop 2 after wins, which is like, that happens. I definitely have moved teams after they've won. Just wanted to address that. Mississippi State and Washington, shout out Cromie, both make their first appearances on the top 25. And then...
Why is that a shout-out, Cromie?
Because Washington is he's the one that keeps asking for Washington respect, right?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
You disagree? Should I have not? I take back my shout-out, I guess.
No,
I don't know.
he can have the shout-out.
Yeah. He's been demanding the Washington respect. He's also demanding respect for another team. That has not happened yet. We
Give it time. They win a big one
2
this
weeks?
week.
Yeah.
No, this week.
Next.
Tomorrow.
No,
They
it's
have to go.
next
It's
no,
next
but I'm
week.
just saying they have to go to Oregon State tomorrow, and that's a big one. You win that, you could finally maybe get some
Correct.
respect.
I think next week we'll have a lot more impact on their ranking and their standing.
Oregon State is 0-4, so
Yeah, but
But they feel a lot better if Oregon State's 0-5 as opposed to 1-4 after tomorrow. So
yeah, you will not be getting any respect if you lose that game.
some hot takes. I didn't get as much time to dive into it. Cromie having Penn State at 1. We talked about this on our reveal show, with the 3 of our ballots on Sunday. Kind of the Penn State being somewhat underwhelming, giving everything they have returning. Drew Aller being a little bit underwhelming, and then that soft schedule. So having Penn State at 1 was kind of a hot take in my opinion. I gave myself a hot take having Vanderbilt at 10. We also talked about that on Sunday's show, so we don't have to hash that out right now. But yeah, those are kind of the big things that I wanted to point out. Do any of y'all have stuff you wanted to address, highlights, ballots you thought were no Chuck March ballot? I
Well,
may
could it be
need
the
to
ninth?
text him. Oh, let me check.
Yeah,
I
go
need
check
to
real
I need to
quick.
text him. Oh, it's in.
Oh.
His was the 9th ballot.
Perfect. Any highlights from his?
Okay, highlights from Chuck March. TCU at 9.
Okay.
That's kind of high. Missouri at 12. Indiana at 14. Auburn at 15.
Auburn at 15. Despite is he an Auburn fan?
Yes,
Yeah,
he is an
okay.
Auburn fan. They just lost Oklahoma.
Yes.
But I guess, he's got Oklahoma
He probably,
at 13,
if he's an
Auburn
Auburn
at
fan,
15.
he in his mind Auburn's still undefeated because they got robbed of the game.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's see if he moved, how he moved them.
Watch them have moved up.
Nope, they stayed the same.
Okay.
Oklahoma jumped them from 16 to 13. Auburn stays at 15. Alabama, Tennessee. Still no Vanderbilt, which he had South Carolina at 5 2 weeks ago, I believe. So I guess he's just sold on South Carolina entirely and it's just kind of done with them.
Yeah. I mean,
But-
he's getting an individual ballot analysis.
Yeah, well, he's just one of my good friends, and also I just love his ballots
Sure.
because they're about as wild as mine, if not wilder.
Probably Wilder.
LSU at 3, not a huge fan of that. Yeah, I'm not going to go any further into individual ballot analysis because that's just unfair to all the many voters. So, yeah.
Cool.
Thank you, Chuck March, for voting. We look forward to your ballot every week. Anything else y'all want to highlight?
No, keep voting. We appreciate it. It's fun to see everyone's ballots, see what everyone's opinions are on different teams. It's fun to disagree with people and make fun, in good fun,
Yes.
of people's ballots.
We make fun of our own. I make fun of my own. We
Sure,
make fun of our
sure.
own.
With that being said, I think we can get into our first specific game preview, and that is Mississippi State hosting Tennessee this weekend. I believe Mississippi State 7.5 point underdogs. Tennessee's favored by 7.5 currently.
Opened at
So
9.5.
Open at 9.5. It's a 3:15 kickoff. Did not get the night game, unfortunately. Y'all's thoughts on this game, though, as the State fans on the podcast?
Yeah, so it opened at 9.5, and then Josh Pate Sunday night in the last 3 minutes of his show encouraged people to go bet State to cover. That line has moved 2 points to 7.5. I feel good. I'm excited, and kind of getting more. I disagree with JP. His comment earlier. Well, I'm not on campus, so maybe I can't speak for that. But his point about the excitement not being there like it was for the Arizona State game, I have a lot of excitement. And maybe I'm just kind of projecting that onto other people, but I feel like Twitter is also pretty full of excitement. So I'm excited. I think that there's some big things to highlight going into this game. My personal, one of the biggest things I see, Jermod McCoy, still being out. That was a big question mark coming into this week. He was ruled out, I think, yesterday. That'll be something to monitor just with the way we try to push the ball downfield. Another thing to keep in mind will be their running back core. So how does our defensive line hold up against those guys? Star Thomas, Deshaun Bishop have both been really good this year. Both have over 250 yards on the ground. Both have 4 touchdowns and 3 touchdowns, respectively. So those guys have been fantastic. How does our D-line, missing Whitson, how does that hold up? Because that was kind of a question mark coming into the season, was defensive line. It's looked good so far, but against lesser competition. Another thing to watch will be our secondary. So we've got knowns in Kelly Jones and Isaac Smith. Isaac Smith plays more of a linebacker now. He's moved from safety, so he moves around. But Kelly Jones at cornerback has been fantastic all season. 0 touchdowns allowed, 3 pass breakups, only 2 receptions when targeted. So he's been fantastic. And then we also have Diego Brumfield and Brylan Lanier, 2 other guys, lower PFF grades, 66.2, 67.8, but both have played well. I believe Lanier might have an interception on this season. I didn't put that in my notes.
He did in this other missed game.
Yep, that's what I thought. That'll be interesting. Could those guys, Brumfield, I think, comes off the bench typically.
No, he plays.
Okay.
Him and Jefferson essentially kind of switch.
Okay.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's been Diago.
Okay. Well, I had one of them, according to PFF, hadn't started a game yet. They just played. They played a lot of snaps.
Diago's technically the second name on the depth chart. That's
Yeah.
probably why.
That's probably what it was. So he's played a lot of snaps. He's going to play a lot of snaps on Saturday. How does he hold up against guys like Chris Brazzell? That's going to be a big matchup. That won't be him. It'll most likely be Kelly Jones who shadows Brazzell. But just the way
we don't shadow.
Zone. We play what
We just play sides. We didn't shadow Jordan Tyson at least, so
Sure.
I doubt we'll shadow Chris Brazzell. Kelly Jones typically plays the right, our right, if you
Defensive
were
right,
defensive right, and then Diago or Jet play the left.
Yeah. So how do they hold up against a pretty high-powered Tennessee offense? That'll be something to monitor. Another thing to monitor, Darian, I don't know how to say his last name, Gullett?
I don't know how to say his last name either.
Our linebacker,
Levy just calls him Darion.
Well, he missed last week. He's questionable coming into this week. He leads the team in tackles, even having missed a week. So 13 tackles for 3 games. He'll be a really important piece to get back. And then, yeah, Sven makes a great point. Our offensive line, how does it hold up against guys like Joshua Josephs? Josephs has been incredible with 12 pressures, 3 sacks, an 82.9 PFF grade through the first 4 games. So how does the offensive line hold up? I saw somewhere, is it PFSN? Is that not the new thing we've been seeing?
Bro, I don't know who they are, but yeah.
There is a Twitter account backed by an organization that does data and analytics, and they've got us as the number 8 graded offensive line in the country. Some of that may be due to the quality of opponent we've played, but yes, Sven makes a great point. If our offensive line can keep shaping and protected against guys like Josephs and give him time to get the ball to Brennan Thompson and Anthony Evans, we've got a shot. Those are kind of my big things to watch. Is our secondary matched up against Joey Aguilar and Brazzell, and then our defensive line matched up against their O-line and those 2 running backs out of the backfield.
Yeah. And I will say it's not just Brazzell. Braylon Staley's had a really good start to the season. Young kid as well. I believe he's a true freshman, maybe redshirt. But he has multiple touchdowns, over 200 receiving yards at this point, has really impressed. So it's not necessarily the same as a Jordan Tyson situation in the Arizona State game. They're a little deeper in the wide receiver core. You're going to have to match up across the board and take multiple guys away. So just something to keep in mind. JP, your thoughts?
I don't think the game even starts there, and I don't think that needs to even be mentioned.
The wide receiver versus the DBs?
I don't think that's the key to the game.
Okay.
Arizona State ran for 248 yards in the second half against us. Can Tennessee do the same? I think that's the key to the game for us defensively. It seems, at least, that the Tennessee fans expect them to run the ball and try to run the ball a ton. And it'll be just a question, can we hold up in the ground game well against that? We were able to in the first half against Arizona State. The crowd played a huge factor in that, but we were also flying to the ball and showed a ton of energy. Second half, not so much. Northern Illinois game, though, I'd say the start we kind of got punched in the mouth from a running game perspective, but from there on out, we were very, very good against a team that runs the ball 2 out of 3 times. Tennessee's averaging 202 rushing yards per game, so they are very capable at running the ball with Star Thomas, and that, I think, is the key to the game, not necessarily the DBs versus their wide receivers, because Aguilar, they're throwing the ball. They have 339 passing yards per game, which is 8th in the country. But so much of that is set up off of the play action. And then on top of that, it is that they are hitting almost all of their downfield shots, it feels like.
I heard they're like 65. I was listening to a podcast this morning previewing the game. Tennessee's like 65% of their passes are play action, I believe.
Yes.
That's from the PFF college football show.
And that's the way it should be. That's how you should set up, is run the ball to set up the pass, specifically the play action pass, and not, dink and dunk your way down the entire field. Tennessee's not an air raid offense by any means. They're run first to set up the pass. And so I think the key to the game for us defensively is being stout in the run and forcing 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, because at least at this point, Joey Aguilar hasn't necessarily shown the ability to take care of the football.
Yeah.
Had a pick against Georgia, and he had picks prior in the season as well. I think our guys will be fine one-on-one, but it becomes more of a question if Riley Lanier or Hunter Washington or Isaac Smith have to go help in the rushing game. Then that's leaving guys on islands, and Diago and Kelly are great in small samples, but if we're not establishing a heavy pass rush, then we're going to get eaten alive in that case. So we've got to stop the run first and foremost. I think that's the key to the game for us defensively. Offensively, I think it's, can we just keep shaping up right for the most part, especially against that pass rush? I think our wide receivers are better than their DBs, especially without Gerard McCoy.
Yeah.
And I don't think Boo Carter is playing either.
I can double check that.
There's another DB that's not playing, but it may not be Boo.
I don't think it's Boo, but I could be wrong.
Okay. But I think we have the matchup there. Georgia clearly did. And I think our receivers
are better than Georgia.
I think
receivers.
they're on the same page. Zachariah Branch is
Yep.
insane, and London Humphreys is very solid too. But I think as a group, we're on par at least.
Yeah.
So we got to keep shaping up right. Like Lebby said, you have to stay out of 3 and outs because that keeps the crowd in the game.
Yeah.
That was the story of the Tennessee-Georgia game, was that when Tennessee was not moving the ball. Now, they only had 1 3 and out in the entire game, but they had 5 and outs. They had multiple 5 and outs, 2 specifically. It took Rocky Top out of the game. Georgia was then able to run whatever they wanted and communicate well, and they were effective in the running game because of that. We need to avoid 3 and outs ourselves. And I'm really interested to see how it'll go with pace of play. We're the 2 of the fastest teams in the entire country. Tennessee is 3rd in pace of play with an average time between plays of 20.6 seconds. The Dogs are 17th at 23.5 seconds.
Yeah.
So we're going to be flying both sides up and down the field, and no huddle a ton. And I'm really curious to see who that will affect the most. Other things, penalties is a big one.
Yeah.
We're 2nd in the country in terms of penalty yardage per game, 95 penalty yards per game. But I also calculated 89 penalty yards per game, and I saw a different number as well. So it's like 90
it's
yards.
not great regardless.
There's a bunch of different numbers out there. Tennessee has also not been great. They have 65 penalty yards per game. So penalties is a huge one there, and especially with our crowd. Like, if we can force false starts ourselves, force illegal motions, illegal shift, whatever you want to call it, that's going to help a ton. We've got to limit penalties because that gets us behind the 8 ball. That puts us in second and 15, 3rd and 9. That's when the pass rush is going to eat us alive,
Sure.
Especially Joshua Josephs. I'm scared of that guy.
Yeah.
He's a really, really good ball player. On top of that, I think winning the turnover battle is key. We have done that through 4 games. We're +8 in the turnover margin if you count turnover on downs, which I do personally. When you're talking about turnovers, we need to win the turnover battle on Saturday as well. Force Aguilar to turn it over. But also, if we're going to be aggressive and go for it on 4th down, it's not a hot take, but convert it.
Sure.
That I think that's key to the game.
I'd rather convert him than not convert him, personally.
Agreed.
So
My biggest take, though, is I think the under has to hit for us to win this game.
That's
I
fair.
don't think we can outscore Tennessee.
I think that's fair.
I'll say
The
two of your. Oh, go ahead.
Point total 63.5. So it needs to be like a 35-24 kind of game.
Yeah.
Sure. Let me hop in real
Go.
quick. What's up, Brian? Just wanted to say, hey, I think you maybe think about Ricky Gibson, Tennessee's cornerback, who's out for the rest of the season in
Yeah.
terms of another one that's injured.
Yeah, that's who it was.
But I do want to shout out Colton Hood has been playing great. So while they're not the deepest, they kind of still have this guy that's kind of transforming into a lockdown corner and is playing really well. Take it away, Sam.
Yeah, I think two of your points, JP, complement each other really well, and I don't know if you addressed it specifically, but the one about us avoiding 3 and outs, and then the one about up tempo play. And because I was watching rewatching Tennessee Georgia last night, the number of times they're snapping the ball with 25 seconds left on the game clock is crazy. So they are going to move fast, but avoiding those 3 and outs is going to be a key, not just because it's good for the offense, but because of how much it helps the defense. If you're constantly running a defense out there after 2.5 minutes because we had 2 incomplete passes and a 3-yard rush, they're going to be gassed against that up-tempo Tennessee offense. So avoiding the 3 and outs not only keeps the crowd in the game, which Sven makes a great point, is going to be key because Joey Aguilar has looked incredible, but he comes from App State, right? He hasn't played a true road game at Tennessee yet. He hasn't seen an SEC road environment. At its best, State has one of the best road environments in the SEC. I think we do have the benefit of the cowbells. That helps a lot. So if we can make it hell for him, it'll be a test. I'm not saying we haven't seen anything to think he can't handle it, but I'd much rather make him handle it than, like you said, have those 3 and outs that take the crowd out of the game quick, or give up a fast touchdown and then go 3 and out and give up another one and it's 14-0. That's worst case scenario. That's how I feel like games have often gone once we go against the big teams in the SEC. Think Georgia. I can remember games against Georgia where we feel like we have a chance going in, and then you blink, and then it's 14-3.
That was the LSU game.
Yeah, LSU game. So those are important, is how does our crowd stay involved, and I do think you make a great point that it's going to have a lot to do with avoiding those 3 and outs, keep the defense fresh, because we've talked about this all offseason, and now we're here. Our defense is much improved from last year. It's better. It's good, but it does not have the depth of what you really want to see from an SEC defense. The high-end play from Kelly Jones, from Isaac Smith is very good. Isaac Smith playing fantastic right now. Kelly Jones, too, playing one of the best corner grade-wise and completion percentage-wise, playing fantastic. But you get those guys out, you get them gassed, it starts to get a little stressful. Brian asks, should State be ranked? Absolutely. If they win this game, this is a huge game.
We should already be ranked.
We should already be ranked. But this
That's
is
iffy.
this is a big game. I don't want to get into that because we got to play the game first before we worry about that. But yes,
Sure.
this is the kind of game that does impact that. Yes, Brian, winning, even if it's as a home game, even it being a home game, a win here is a big deal. Would absolutely get us ranked, or
Yeah.
should. I'm not going to say it would because you never know.
I agree.
It would rank us 100%. The only way it doesn't if I don't know, for some reason every team above us wins this weekend, but that's not necessarily available. TCU is playing at Arizona State tomorrow night. Illinois plays USC. Both of those teams are 21-23, so more than likely one of those teams drops. Auburn, who's technically above us at 26, plays at A&M. So if Auburn were to lose, that kind of guarantees we're the next man up there. I would guarantee we're ranked if we were to beat Tennessee, but we should already be ranked. We have a better win than TCU. We have a better win than BYU. We have a better win than Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So I don't understand it. It's not like we've been piss poor, and in any of the other games we've covered the spread all 4 times. So we should already be ranked.
Yeah, I don't think that's super relevant, and that's Sven just said that he spends $5,000 a year to fly to Starkville to watch games. So that's awesome.
But the tickets are free.
The
and
tickets
so
are
that,
free.
That makes it worth it.
Free tickets on the 2 tickets on the 40-yard line for free whenever he flies over. That's awesome. Any other
No, let's
things to watch out for?
pick this game. The spread we already mentioned, but Tennessee's 7.5. Sanders, you picking State to
I'm
cover?
picking the dogs. I'm absolutely
You
picking the
them
dogs
to win.
I'm picking them to win
Okay.
and cover.
JP.
I've picked them. They have covered every time. I was the only one out of the 3 of us to pick them last week. Y'all said that eventually we're due. It's not yet. 4-0 against the spread. I think we cover again.
There wasn't even an indictment on our team. I thought it was just a statement of how good NIU is at sticking in games. On June 18th of this year, I let the world know that we might beat Tennessee this year.
You did say that.
And on August 14th of this year, I said that we will beat Tennessee.
You did say that.
We will beat Tennessee this weekend. Obviously, we would cover 7.5. I think this is just a game that we will win. I think the home crowd plays a huge effect. I can feel the energy in the locker room. I don't feel it on campus. They said I haven't felt it this week to the same degree that Arizona State was. Asking people around, hearing conversations as I'm walking through the drill field. Our professors asking in class, are we going to win this weekend? I haven't felt that kind of excitement from the student body. But we've sold out Davis Wade. Cowbells are going to be packed. We have the Cowbells still for now. And I think they'll play enough of a factor in this game. I think the Dogs win.
Sure. Even if you haven't felt the energy on campus, if you're just in any group me and you see the hordes of people texting trying to find tickets and no one texting selling tickets, kind of tells you where the place is to be this weekend. And
Yeah.
it's in Davis Wade. I am going to take Tennessee to cover here, though. It's going to be a fast-paced game. We've talked about a ton, and I just don't think State's going to be able to hold up for the whole 60 minutes, and Tennessee will pull away late. But y'all put up a good fight. But I'm going to take Tennessee to cover, and this is where I'm going to start creeping back up in the standings, of our pick'em, because it's got to start happening at some point. I'm due.
You
so.
just
Give
hurt
me
yourself.
Tennessee.
0-1 to start the weekend is crazy.
No, I'm sorry.
Throw me.
Well, we do have 10 games to pick from.
Yeah,
this
I was
weekend.
wondering about that. So
I
I saw
put
that you
those-
added the other 5.
I'm
I
good
put
to
them
pick
on
them.
there because they're
There's-
such big games. We might as well just pick them here at the end.
Yeah.
I'm very much for that. I almost brought it up myself.
Sven said he's going to be here April 21st to May 2nd, so a weekend for the Starkville or Mississippi State versus LSU baseball game series. That's going to be huge. We'll definitely be covering baseball to as much as we're able to with basketball season happening once we get there. I'm very excited for baseball season, but we're not there yet. So we want to go. All right. So I assume next up we'll go fan game of the week, right?
Yeah,
JP?
let's do the fan game.
Is this
of
the
week.
JP 10-minute monologue?
No, but I have a text that
Well-
I'm gonna read.
Okay.
And that'll pretty much signify the breakdown of this game. But this week's fan game of the week is the biggest game in the Sun Belt all year until the Sun Belt Championship. GATA at James Madison. This is it's a hot commodity. The lowest ticket price you can get right now is $140 for JMU and Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern started the year at Fresno State, lost kind of in a heartbreaker fashion. They were just terrible in the second half. JMU lost in heartbreaking fashion to Louisville. And then Georgia Southern's other loss is at USC, which they actually put up a fine performance in Clay Helton's return to the Coliseum. But this is the biggest game of the Sun Belt this entire season. Neither of these teams have played a Sun Belt game yet. This would be start 1-0 and also hold the tiebreaker, which would be key for these two teams, especially since the Sun Belt is one of the few conferences that still has divisions, meaning these two teams are in the same division. Only one of them goes to the Sun Belt Championship game. So this is massive. But here's my text from our boots on the ground GATA correspondent, also our Falcons correspondent, Thomas Mickle. Saturday, September 27th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, is when Georgia Southern's Sun Belt season begins on the road at James Madison. The fact is, Georgia Southern has been underwhelming to start the season. During the first half of the college football season, Georgia Southern had tied Fresno State 14-14. The end result, a 42-14 loss. Not a single point scored in the second half. Week 2 is the same story. We played USC close until halftime. The optimism here is Georgia Southern has returned to its historically good running game, and this seems to be the best possible scenario. In its 2 bounce-back victories, second-year starter quarterback J.C. French has only thrown for 440 yards. But the rushing attack has totaled over 400 across the 2 games, led by O.J. Arnold, who has been a starter since his true freshman season. This is excellent. J.C. French has been ass, to say the least, according to Thomas. After Air Raid head coach Clay Helton came from USC, the program led the FBS in passing yards, attempts, and many other passing-related stats. The result has been 2 bowl game losses and an NFL caliber running backs not getting any attention that they deserve, and also Younghoe Koo, which is a sad story also for a Falcons fan there as well.
That is tough.
This is the take from GATA correspondent. If Georgia Southern can play mediocre defense and run the ball effectively, they can keep up with the 17.5-point favorites in JMU. If Georgia Southern is forced to pass to win, expect a blowout and the end of Georgia Southern's season in the first game of Sun Belt Conference play. If they can, however, do those 2 things, I'd expect a close 50 to 60 point shootout, meaning both teams score 50 to 60 points. That ends in the fourth quarter. He's taking GATA.
Of course he is.
I love JMU and GATA. These are both 2 of my favorite
Sure.
Sun Belt schools. I'm a big Dukes guy, big Eagles guy. Rest in peace, Freedom.
100%.
I'm going to take GATA to cover as well this weekend. J.C. French, I agree, has not been good to start the season. The hype behind him was unironically one of the highest hypes I've seen around any quarterback coming into the season. Like up there with like Arch Manning level
Gotcha.
hype within the Georgia Southern circles. And he has been terrible to start the season. On the flip side, JMU has been solid at quarterback, but it's been just like a question of like, why aren't we just starting one guy like Alonzo Barnett?
I think they figured that one out.
They figured that out.
Sluka didn't take a snap
Okay, that's
in
huge.
their last game. I want to see if that holds up because GATA has really struggled against the run, and
Yes.
Sluka's kind of the running package quarterback. So we may see him some in this game, but I hope it's limited to like 1 or 2 spots and not this like once or twice a drive type because it was terrible. Alonzo Barrett's the better quarterback.
Oh,
and so
100%.
And it's like the running backs are good too. The trio they run out: Wayne Knight, George Pettaway, Ayo Adeyi. Like you don't need Sluka to run the football. You
Yeah.
have the running backs and the offensive line to do it. So it makes no sense.
Agreed.
So I hope they stick with that. It's weird with J.C. French. I was looking into him a little bit. I've not watched any GATA this year live. He actually grades out really well as a downfield thrower this year.
Yeah.
But then you look at the short numbers, and it's really bad, which
terrible.
doesn't make any sense. It's like the PFF grades are astonishing in that regard. So, yeah, if they can run the ball and then he can hit a couple deep shots, it's a game. But I don't think they have any way of slowing down James Madison. Like, they're going to
Fair.
have to score a ton to win this game. So, do you want to try and explain GATA again? Tucker?
GATA. So it's just a saying they have there at Georgia Southern. I don't exactly remember the origin, but the saying, it's an acronym that's for get after that ass. That is essentially what it is. Get after that ass. They say GATA a ton. And it's like Hail State here. It's just their big phrase there at Georgia Southern.
Gotcha.
It's massive. Our correspondent has GATA tattooed on his left butt cheek. So if that kind of
Carter Finster style?
yeah, if that puts any like withholding to that statement, how much it means there, that's evidence right there. I love GATA in Georgia Southern.
So you're taking Gata to cover.
I think they'll cover the 17.5.
Okay.
I don't know if they'll win. I think if this was at home, this would be a lot more competitive. Last year it was a shootout, really came down to the end, and James Madison was able to sneak away with it at Georgia Southern. But James Madison, that's a really tough place to play, unironically. They play really well there at home, and the 1:30 kickoff is going to help a little bit with the home crowd environment, but I think it's going to be too much for Georgia Southern. But I think they'll cover 17.5.
Sure.
I think these teams are more closely matched than people think, and than Vegas thinks. I think you see the Fresno State and the USC result and think Georgia Southern isn't good. But again, this is a Sun Belt team that literally had to fly across the country for both of those games, at Fresno and at USC, and that's just not going to be no team. Not even Big Ten teams are good at that
Sure.
right now. The West Coast teams that have flown east have not been good. USC specifically, so you can't expect that out of Georgia Southern. This one, obviously up there in Virginia, different story.
Yeah.
So I think Georgia Southern covers 17.5. That's too many points.
I wish when I moved it wasn't 2020 because I would have loved to go to a game, but it just didn't happen at the time because I lived literally 40 minutes away from Harrisonburg where James Madison is. But now I'm in Starkville, so I guess I don't really live there anymore. I'm going to take James Madison to cover, though. I trust that team a lot, and I don't know much about Georgia Southern, so I'm just going to trust the team that I like and I think is well coached, and I think I figured out their quarterback issues, and that plays fast on defense to just score a ton of points and keep scoring and get enough stops to cover 17.5. So give me James Madison.
Yeah, I'm gonna explain my pick real quick. Here are the current pick'em standings. Jack is 8-14, JP is 10-12, and I lead the way at 13-9.
So you're gonna go with JP here.
I can't let JP.
That's
Get a
crazy.
game.
This early in the season, this is how you're gonna lose.
But,
you're gonna let us back in.
But
'cause you're trying
also, I don't know the insider, but I know JP who knows the insider. So I'm one person removed from our insider at Georgia Southern.
sounds like a pretty biased inside source.
Did he say who? I assume he's picking Georgia Southern to cover.
Yes.
He has them winning.
Okay. Oh, he had them winning. My
Yes.
bad.
Yeah.
I missed that. Yeah, I'm gonna also have to pick Georgia Southern. It's twofold. One person removed from an inside source who has them winning. How can you not pick them to cover? And then also, I can't let JP catch up a game.
This is shaping up to potentially be a huge week for me. That's all I'm saying. We're off to a good start, maybe. 2-0. 2-0. Do we want to go to the other big SEC matchup next?
Yeah. Well, let's. So we've got 3 more games to cover. We've got Oregon at Penn State. Do we want to do it like in order of kickoff?
That works too.
So it'd be Ohio State at Washington would be first.
Yep.
And then we'd have 2 night games left.
Sure.
So let's start with Ohio State, Washington.
My dogs, man, my Huskies host Ohio State, number 1 in the country, Ohio State, at 2:30 in the afternoon. Ohio State is 7.5-point favorites, but that line has come way down. It opened at 13.5-point favorites or something like that.
Yes.
People are all over the Huskies in this matchup, which actually worries me a little bit. I wish we were flying a little more under the radar here, but that's not to be. It's a huge matchup. I have Washington win this game. I'm going to say it right now. I predicted it in our preview, our Washington preview. I said Washington's going to beat Ohio State. What are your all's thoughts on this game, though?
Sorry, I was just laughing at Sven.
You're
looks
just
like he
giving the
copied
explanation.
Copied and pasted from Wikipedia.
Yeah.
This is a big matchup for Washington. I just saw a tweet talking about the trio, and we did an entire segment about it Sunday of Damon Williams, Jonah Coleman, and Denzel Boston being potentially the best trio in college football: quarterback, running back, wide receiver.
Yeah.
So they're fantastic, and this is like a big test for Ohio State because you cannot sleep on Washington. Spread started at 10.5. I think it's moved to 7.5.
Started at 13.5.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
it opened big. It
The
moved
the-
really quick.
I don't know where I got that number from. So it started at 13.5, has moved to 7.5.
Yeah.
I saw someone say, and JP as our semi-professional sports gambler, I saw someone say that the public can't move the line that much. That something else, can the 6 points is a lot.
The public can move the line a fair amount. I think A large part of why lines move are, one, public betting, but two, it's how much public betting is happening early on.
Mm-hmm.
So the immediately once the line is open and out there, if 95% of the bets were coming in and they're taking Washington plus 13.5, then they need to start dropping that line drastically, because Vegas's goal is to have 50% of people bet on both sides, because they have what they have in their favor is called VIG, meaning their odds are split to where if it was 50-50, it doesn't matter who wins, they rake in X amount. And they do that by creating their odds specifically on spreads are like minus 110.
Yeah.
Meaning you have to bet 110 to win 100. And so if you have that on both sides, they take $10 in VIG. Vegas, if it's 50-50, they win $10 off two people betting no matter what. And that is what they're trying to do. So if the early money really, really comes in for one side, they drop that line really, really quickly to try and even it out as quickly as possible. And they want 50-50 by the end of the week. And a lot of time that won't happen. Like this week, a ton of people are really heavy on teams like Georgia. A lot of people are heavy on Oregon this week, and it's up like at 80% of people are betting on that. So they can't do it every time.
Well, yeah.
But this, I think, more so explains that story, is that what their line is not necessarily a question of like, do they have the right ratings?
Yeah.
They have to also include what the public is going to think immediately. Like the JP poll is different in that it's literally just comparing two teams.
Yeah.
What the spread would be between the two teams to make it even. Vegas, it's partially that, but that it's also like public perception as well.
Yeah. Cool. All that to say, it is a test for Ohio State. And I guess the people would seem to agree. That's why all the money is coming in on Washington. Washington has a big home field advantage. They've got 22 straight wins at home. It's up there for one of the longest active win streaks, I believe, in college football. I think Georgia's is longer. I don't know about any others, but it's up there with the best.
It's second.
Second?
Yeah.
So that'll be something to watch. And, yeah, you want to say something, Jack?
No, I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah, so Washington, home field advantage is a big deal. And then Julian Sayin, the quarterback, is still a young starter, redshirt freshman, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, this will be his first
true
road
road
start.
first true road game.
In a hostile environment, a tough place to play.
Yeah, and so the question will be, does Ohio State open it up? Because he's been playing well since the Texas game. The Texas game, it was pretty apparent that, like, it was a conservative play calling, conservative approach to the game because Texas was a very good defense. You didn't want Sayin trying to do too much and ending up losing the game with a late interception or something like that. So they go conservative approach. They run the ball a lot. They get the win there. Now you go to Washington. What is the confidence from that offensive staff like? How much do they believe in Sayin and his ability to manage that team to really wheel and deal to Jeremiah Smith and that tight end from Purdue? And then how much does the Washington defense kind of take that away? How much does the crowd take away his ability to audible and adjust the line of scrimmage? How impactful is the first true road game for him?
Sure. I think they have a good amount of faith in him at this point. I do also think, though, that they believe they can establish the run in this game just based on the talent and size advantage they have in the trenches over Washington. So I think you're going to see a lot of Bo Jackson early. I hope you see a lot of Bo Jackson. I think he's their best running back. I know he's a true freshman. They have Peoples. They have Donaldson. Multiple people that can just run, and they're going to try and pound the rock for multiple reasons. One, because I think they think they can, and that's the spot they can win at. But it also just eats away at the clock. They can win time of possession. You take the ball out of the hands of Damon Williams and Jonah Coleman and Denzel Boston. You don't let Washington's weapons cook if you do that. So I think they're going to try and pound the rock, but I don't think it's because they don't trust Sayin, if that makes sense. And they're going to let Sayin take his shots. They're going to try and get the ball to Jeremiah Smith and the other outside weapons as well. But I just think they see an advantage there. So I think you're going to see a lot of run early.
Well, I'm curious if it will be an advantage. Washington's only given up 59 rushing yards per game in 3 games. Now they've only played Colorado State, UC Davis, and the Apple Cup.
Sure.
So not Ohio State rushing attack. But I'm curious to see if they will be able to hold up. Washington has actually been pretty good against the run in years past. They usually have really good defensive lines.
Yeah.
Especially stout in the interior defensive tackle. So I'm curious to see if that'll hold up for them against a Ohio State running back. That's kind of a question right now too.
Yeah.
It feels like it's Bo Jackson's backfield at this point, but
He's the darling, like the fan pick. I'm interested to see what if the coaches agree with that or not.
yeah. So I think there's some questions there. Sayan's first road game is like I think the largest story here. How will he react in that? Because what we've seen so far this year, first true road games for guys have not gone well. Arch Manning did not go well whatsoever week 1 at Ohio State. Ty Simpson, he technically played a true road game at South Florida, but I would argue that the Florida State was his first true road start. That went horribly as well. So like I just don't think anything's guaranteed there from
Sure.
Julian. I think they're going to be conservative. I fully expect that in his first start. I think they're just going there to try and win a football game, and I don't think they really care how it plays out. They just want to walk home with a win.
Yeah.
As all teams should. They're not trying to make a statement either.
That is the end goal.
I think the big thing.
I do think there's an avenue where the defense, Ohio State's defense that is, has heard all this talk and chatter about
Yes.
Jonah Coleman and Damon Williams and Denzel Boston and feel disrespected, and they're going to go out and play with a chip on their shoulder and try and shut that down and be like, it doesn't matter that they're this good, right? That, they're winning Big Ten Player of the Week offensively and stuff like that, and the whole country loves them. But we're just a different animal. You don't do that against us. And I think that's really the matchup I want to see is, like, I love Damon Williams. I love Jonah Coleman. I love Denzel Boston. I could say it over and over again. But can they do it against Ohio State's defense? I really want to know. Can they do it against Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, Arvell Reese, like Davison Igbinosun, Caden Curry? It's different than the Apple Cup. It's different than UC Davis,
100%.
right? So that's my matchup to look out for. Sanders, you think they can do that? Do you think Washington can just continue to be this crazy efficient offense? I don't think they've punted in 21 possessions.
I do. I mean, we can go. Do you want to go and get into the picks?
We can start heading that way. But, yeah.
Okay. I do. I really like the offense, and I like Damon Williams. I was very sad. Could not get him. He may have already been drafted in the fantasy league last year, but a really exciting guy who I didn't see a lot of last year. And then when we were getting ready for this season, talking about how he played at the end of the season, coming in for Will Rogers, he's so fun. And the way how creative he is with his legs is awesome. So I do, and I think Jonah Coleman is fantastic. I do think they can get it done. I don't know. They're not going to be insane because this Ohio State defense is still very good, but I think that they're good enough to get it done, especially at home. And then, the impact of the sailgating. Learned about that this week leading up to this game. Completely forgotten that was a thing. So, yeah, I think they can get it done.
Sure. So, are we ready to pick then?
Yeah, I don't know how much sailgating is going to play.
Oh, that was just a joke. I just wanted to drop sailgating.
But I do think their home crowd will play a tremendous factor. I agree with you guys, though. I think defense for Ohio State kind of tells the story. How well do they hold up against Washington's is the story of it. I think Washington's going to win.
Welcome to the club.
I also do. I didn't know we were we're all on the same page. We're all
think
picking Washington.
Forget picking them to cover. We're all picking them to win.
I think they're going to get enough done offensively. I think the crowd's going to help them a ton. Cromie makes a really good point, and Arch got it going in the fourth quarter once he finally kind of settled in. I expect Damon, sorry, not Demon.
He's going to play like a demon.
I think he'll play
the way he runs, man.
I think he will settle in immediately. I think they'll have a really good opening script for him and Jonah Coleman and Denzel Boston. I think they'll get started right on the right foot. I don't think his legs are going to play that much of a factor in this game. I just don't think he is the caliber enough of an athlete to outrun Sonny Styles
Yeah.
Arvell Reese. Those guys just fly. Caleb Downs, any of those guys. But I do think he's a good enough thrower, and I think Jonah Coleman, Denzel Boston are good enough weapons that they can make the impact in this game. I think Sayan might turn the ball over in a key spot, just with the crowd playing that much of a factor. Ohio State fans probably will travel, but they're not going to fill up any more than 2%. It's going to be all Huskies and Dogs
Yeah.
there. Obviously, I wouldn't bet Washington plus 7.5. I would take Ohio State plus 7.5.
Sure.
But I think Washington is going to win. And for the purpose of our picks, I'll take Washington plus 7.5 too.
I'll take Washington plus 7.5 too. This is a spot where Damon Williams, like where legends are made. Like you pull
Yeah.
off this win in front of your home crowd against the number 1 team in the nation. Like you become that guy,
Yeah.
even more so than you already are.
You have the pick of the litter when you transfer next year.
No, he's staying. He's staying put.
That was a joke.
And I agree. I think he's going to be settled in right away. I mean, he played as a true freshman last year. Has kind of just always been cool as a cucumber. You know, he's sporting a 73.5% completion percentage this year, so people love to talk about his legs, but he really can throw the ball very, very well. The biggest thing is talking about him using his legs. Even if he doesn't use them to scramble, he has a bit of a sack issue at times. He's going to have to make sure that he doesn't take a bunch of negative plays in that regard and use his legs to scramble to avoid sacks, less so than, like, scramble for big runs. But give me the Huskies to cover and win. Sanders, I know your varsity right
picking
there with
Washington
you,
to
but
cover and win.
that's sick.
Real quick, Arch Manning had 40 yards until the fourth quarter and garbage time. I mean, he had 100. Was it garbage time? Was it not a? When did they make it a 7-point game?
He was bad, Sanders. I forgot what the number
No,
was.
he was bad. He just had 132 passing yards in the fourth quarter. So that's
let me
just.
let me.
I'm
find
trying to
the
figure out
number.
when that came.
I mean, I don't really know if
I
the two
agree
possessions-
he was
Arch
bad.
Manning
I-
had 38 yards going into the fourth quarter.
And then he had 142 in the fourth.
He-
I just
he had
didn't.
38 yards going into the fourth quarter.
I think Arch Manning was bad. I was low on him
Do
coming
you agree
in.
with Sven's nickname?
Arch the Bum Manning? Yes, I do.
Okay.
You just made the point that he got it going in the fourth against Ohio State, and then Sven disagreed and was like, "Oh, he had 40 yards, and then it was garbage time." I was just trying to question, like, is a 14-point game? When did their touchdown in the fourth come? Because I don't think it was garbage.
I would not
They
say it
had
was,
the ball with a chance
to tie.
to go tie the game.
I don't think you can call it garbage time. Is my point.
I agree there wasn't garbage time, but Sven isn't necessarily saying. I mean, he did play well in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
So, but I agree it wasn't garbage time. But
right.
we can.
Sven, he had 100 yards in the fourth quarter and gave them a chance to go tie the game. I just don't think that you can call that garbage time. Or
I will say.
I think Arch was bad in that game. I after the show dogged on him, and I still don't think he's good. He's been bad since then. I just think that throwing out the fourth quarter is garbage time when they had a chance to go tie the game with the
and
ball.
he did play better in the fourth, mainly because he hit a couple big throws.
Right.
But he still misses the guy on the drag route on 3rd and 5 that's wide open
Right.
to get the first down. Like he gave him a chance to win the game, but he also didn't deliver.
Yes.
So I still don't really think he had a good fourth quarter.
Yes.
So
I can
but
agree
it
with
was never garbage time.
that.
I'll agree
That's
with you there.
my thing is he played better in the fourth, and I don't think calling that garbage time is fair. It's also nitpicky. It's not super relevant
It
to the
doesn't
conversation.
actually matter at all. Correct.
I just got caught up because I couldn't remember how the game went.
Which one do
Oregon-
we want to do? We want to do that one next?
I feel like we got to save Alabama for Georgia for last. I mean,
Okay.
we're both invested as an Alabama hater, as someone who picked Alabama to win the championship. Oregon at Penn State.
Okay.
Oh, but this is the whiteout. Nah, do it. Do it.
Number 6 Oregon travels to number 3 Penn State for the whiteout. And it's a night whiteout. I don't know the last time we've had a night whiteout, but it's been a minute. It's been
It's been a couple years.
It's been a lot of big noon kickoff whiteouts, but we
Yeah.
get it at nighttime. It's a tough test for Oregon. It's a tough test for Penn State. Oregon has already played a Big Ten game, but it was against Northwestern, and this is Penn State's first test of this. Is both of their
Yes.
first test of the season? Though Oregon is a little more tested than Penn State, I would say. Key points for this game, guys.
So Penn State 11-6 in official whiteouts. It's their first whiteout with top 10 teams since 2018, where the Buckeyes defeated the Nittany Lions 27-26. Penn State failed a 4th and 5 late in that game. That would cost them. And then James Franklin gave one of his greatest speeches of all time about good, great, and elite teams, essentially calling Penn State a good team, not great, and certainly not elite. Franklin, in his press conference earlier this week, talked about the first month Penn State was really trying to just build depth defensively, so they were playing a ton of guys, a ton of snaps. He said that's not going to be the case Saturday. The best players are going to play the majority of the game and play pretty much the whole way. The biggest storyline, though, for James Franklin is his career record at Penn State versus top 5 teams, which this doesn't count, where he's 1-15. But against top 10 teams, he's 4-20 all time at Penn State. This is
because they're only a good team.
Biggest game. Yeah, they're only a good team, as he said. This is the biggest game, arguably, he's ever had. I would argue the Penn State or the Ohio State game last year was the biggest one until this one. Like, this is a
Not
must-win.
the Big Ten championship.
No, I don't think that. No,
It's basically at this point, until he wins one, the next one always becomes the biggest one.
Yeah.
I thought the Ohio State game was bigger than the Big Ten championship game as well. They were already locked up into a playoff berth. It really didn't matter how that game went, win or lose. Winning would have been awesome, but winning would have meant they got blown out in the Rose Bowl against Ohio State. So I think they were better off.
Well, then that would have become the biggest game.
They were yes, they were better off losing that game and getting to play SMU and Boise State. Another like funny tidbit before I get into like actual team breakdown. So Oregon, the university, has the quarter system.
I had no idea about this, by the way.
Fall classes have not started at Oregon yet.
Bro, we're almost in October.
They will start on Monday, this following Monday. That means Oregon has spent the first month of the season free from academics. None of the football players have been doing school. It's just been football.
All about ball.
I want to imagine
Football is
getting to
life.
enjoy the first, but not even as a football player, but as a student. It's literally just like every day. It's just like,
I don't know if we get to be here.
Yeah, we probably want.
We
But-
we might be here, but like students that lived on campus or anything like that.
screw those guys. I'm living in an
Fair.
apartment, and I'm just gonna hang out all day and just count down.
Yeah,
till,
you know, it'd be
like that's sick.
angle ball every day. That'd be pretty
Yeah.
sweet.
We'd be really good.
Oh my! I want to go to. Dude, that's crazy.
So that's kind of like
so how long? Do you know how long the semester is for them?
I think they'll go all the way through. It'll end in Christmas. Like it's a quarter system, so it's 4 like semesters throughout the year.
Interesting.
I don't
Alright.
know how it works exactly,
Shout out Oregon. Got to go do my research tonight. I'm transferring.
but this is their first weekend or their last weekend before the first day of school. So obviously, big jitters for the football team for Monday and not Saturday.
Yeah. Sunday scaries for the first time.
In terms of the actual game, Penn State's going to run the ball. They're going to run the ball really well. Oregon is 50th in opponent rushing yards per game, only 130 per game, but they've also not played the Penn State rushing attack. Oregon had a fake punt last week. The punter just took the snap and just ran, and the Oregon State defenders were running down the field. They just didn't see it. It looked like the LSU Florida one that everyone always sees. But he didn't score a touchdown. He slid out of bounds. It was really weird, but they were hype about it. So no fake punt from Oregon this week. Penn State could. Dante Moore has only been sacked once this season. That's a huge story. Through 4 games, did not beat. He's the one time he was sacked too. It was just like the right tackle just got beat immediately, and that's really all that's happened. But he has not like taken a sack from holding on to the ball too long. He's not taken a sack where he scrambled and got tackled 1 yard before the sticks. Like, none of that has happened. And with Penn State's defensive line, that's kind of a huge key to the game. Oregon offensive line versus Penn State defensive line. If they keep Dante Moore upright, Penn State's going to get eaten alive. Because Dante Moore he might be the best quarterback that they've had in recent history with Bo Nix and Dylan Gabriel. Honestly, I think that he will be eventually. That's how they feel there on campus and in that community as well. They think their phrasing they're using right now is the third time's the charm, essentially.
Yeah.
Like Dante Moore's the third one of Gabriel and Bo Nix, that they think this is the guy that's going to lead them to the promised land finally, maybe win a Heisman Trophy, which he could very well do if he continues to put up the numbers he's putting up. Dante loves to give his receivers a chance. They loves throwing the 50-50 one-on-one ball. They've caught a ton of them this year. Jesus, that was weird.
You got it.
Specifically, Decorian Moore, and of course Malik Benson. They have been incredible catching one-on-one, which they're not really that tall of an athlete. It's not been that case, but Dante's thrown that ball really accurately. And then I guess my first question to y'all is, my answer is yes. But do you subscribe to the theory that both of these teams have left plays and sets in the dark so far just for this game?
I think absolutely. I don't know why you don't.
100%. My pushback, though, is assuming they're automatically going to work.
That's
like
fair.
you listen to Penn State fans or Penn State people or even Oregon people, it's like, oh, well, the passing game hasn't necessarily been what
Drew
you
Aller's
would
playing
hope.
bad intentionally.
Yeah, or Drew Aller hasn't necessarily looked as good as you want. But just you wait till he put in those plays, and he's suddenly going to look so much better. Like, that's no guarantee. But they
Yeah.
100% have played a more vanilla
Yeah.
scheme and have kept their best plays hidden for now.
I think my favorite thing, and yeah, I agree that they're definitely holding punches. Can they land them is a great point. Back to the offensive line, I was listening to the preview this morning, the PFF College Show. You know what's crazy is four of their 5 starting offensive linemen, have pass block grades above 80. Do you know the one who doesn't? It's Isaiah World, the guy who's like projected to be like a top 20 NFL
Left
pick.
tackle, right?
Left tackle, yeah.
Yeah.
So I just think it's crazy that it's like if your worst offensive lineman is the guy who's projected to be a first-round draft pick, like that's a pretty good situation to find yourself in.
Agreed.
So they do set themselves up very well. But then on the other side, that Penn State defensive line led by Dennis Sutton, I believe.
Correct.
I thought it was Danny. I believe it's like
Deny.
Dennis Sutton has been awesome. I don't have his stats put up, but 91.5 PFF grade. He's been very good. Does he wear 11?
No, he does not wear 11.
Okay.
They gave it to a freshman. I think he wears 95. He is just physically massive. I would guess he's 6'5", 6'6", about 290 pounds, and he just from what I've seen so far this season, if I had to imagine what it would feel like to see a black bear running right at me, that's what it would look like. Like it's just scary.
Yeah.
Him running at you, and he's fast enough that you're not going to be able to. At least he was faster than the Villanova quarterback, where the Villanova quarterback was not going to escape. Dante Moore, I don't think is. For me, Dante Moore, his speed doesn't really pop off, so I don't know if he'll be able to escape Deny. But Deny is a key factor this game. I think also Penn State's Mike, Tony Rojas, that dude is fast, unbelievably fast. He had 2 sacks in the Villanova game. He just flies. So how does he play against Oregon's rushing attack? If they are able to keep safeties back, I think it helps them so much. And stopping Dante Moore in the passing attack, being able to have safety help, not having to leave your cornerbacks on islands against Decorian Moore and Benson. So Tony Rojas, how does he play against Oregon's, unfortunately, 3-back attack? I think is another key factor, because if they can keep the safeties back, I think Dante Moore has a problem there.
What did you guess his build was? Denied his
6'6", 290.
6'5", 265.
Okay.
So, and that's according to PFF. The measurements could be slightly off. Still a very large
Put
guy.
pads on him. He looks 6'6",
About to
290.
say, yeah. After standing on the field next to football players who are listed at like 6'1" and they look like giants, it's terrifying. So absolutely, he probably plays larger than that. You were gonna say something, or JP? Do you want to answer Tucker's
yeah,
question?
let me answer
Yeah, go. You
Tucker's
did,
question.
ask my question.
I think so. Yes, he throws a really good ball. He has good pocket presence. He's made some really tough, accurate NFL throws, but specifically, like I said, his ability to throw. It's not even this. It's not like the Aaron Rodgers back shoulder fade where it's literally perfect and it's right there as he turns, but it's on that level, at least at a college level. I think he's got to develop a little bit there. I I continue to bring this up for a lot of these prospects is I want to see him respond in difficult environments and difficult situations, because ultimately I think that's where the best quarterbacks come from, is ones that have been through those kinds of moments, so that when they get to the league, they understand how those moments work and how to play in those moments. Like Jalen Hurts is a perfect example of it. Went through a lot at Alabama and Oklahoma. It was in key moments. It was clutch in key moments. On the road, national championship, SEC championship, you name it. At Baylor, his big comeback with Oklahoma. Like, I want to see that from Dante before I name him a star to be. But he's rising, 100% rising. The way I'd argue him and Fernando Mendoza have looked the best in terms of just straight eye test from a quarterback perspective so far this season. They are controlling the pocket really well and throwing it really, really well, really confidently as well. Like, he has conviction. He throws with conviction like Mendoza did.
Yeah, Sven's high on Mendoza, saying he's the best quarterback in the
Yeah, I don't disagree
league
with that
so
at
far.
all.
Okay, question for y'all. So we've just hyped up Dante Moore a lot. Drew Aller has a potential first round buzz as well, but maybe hasn't played as well this year as Dante Moore has. Is it crazy that I don't want to say I trust Dante Moore more than Drew Aller in this matchup, because I don't, because he's so young and we've not seen him in this environment.
He's a redshirt He's young as a starter. He's not young. Redshirt sophomore.
Well, yeah, but
Not- yeah.
he's young as a starter.
Yeah, sorry.
He
I
doesn't
just wanted to push
sure.
he's not a freshman.
He doesn't have a ton of college football
Yeah,
snaps
that's
under
fair.
his belt, especially in this environment he's about to go into.
for sure.
But we've seen a lot of Drew Aller and him never really being the guy that puts it all together in big performances, misses some throws time to time. It's like, am I crazy for not trusting Drew Aller any more than I trust Dante Moore?
No, I don't think so. JP?
I trust Oregon offensively more.
See, I do too.
But I think Aller's actually played at the same level he played at the end of last year. Just no one's seen it. Oh, we're good. 911 has been restored in the state of Mississippi.
That's big time.
I think
Did you even know it went out?
I got a notification.
Yeah.
I didn't read it earlier.
Yeah.
I got a notification.
911 is back.
That's good.
Not the show, which that has gotten a lot of publicity lately. Have you seen the commercial?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I
Drew
can't keep track.
Drew Aller, I think he's playing just as well as he was at the end of last year. We just haven't seen him play on the stage yet, like he did in the Big Ten championship. So I would like to see that here this Saturday.
Sure.
But I trust Oregon offensively more if everything's going right.
Yeah.
I think that's a better way to frame it than how I put it, because I completely agree. Talking about them hiding plays again, or them, leaving their best plays into this kind of matchup, especially with Penn State. Like, I don't have any reason to trust that to work, or to trust that just because they got Trevor Pena and Kyron Hudson, I think is his name, the transfer from USC. Like, I know they're good receivers in theory, but
Pena's been great.
Yes, but we've just never really seen them put together this potent passing attack at Penn State. And so I'm struggling to trust that. And it's a lot easier for me to trust Oregon, where I understand they've not played them good yet this year, but we've seen legitimately great offenses and much more well-rounded offenses than Penn State's put together in the past couple years. So I think that's a good way to frame it, if you trust their offense more as a whole than you trust Penn State's. That being said, Penn State, even if the passing attack's better, they're still going to probably want to pound the rock.
Oh, 100%.
So they actually have passed the ball more than they've ran the ball this year. They've only ran the ball in 48% of their plays. But also, once again, it's like, who have they played? Have they just intentionally been passing more against weaker opponents because they can? And then when they get to this big matchup, are they going to look to use that two-back set and just pound the rock? I don't really know.
It's felt like, for me, watching them, that they have been passing a ton to try and build that rapport early on.
As they probably should.
With the transfer receivers and Drew Aller, and no Tyler Warren to throw to anymore. So I think they were trying to build rapport there. They returned Nick Singleton and Katron Allen. They know what those commodities are. They don't know how Drew Aller and Trevor Pena work, or how Kyron Hudson and Drew Aller work. They've now tried to figure that out. And both Hudson and Pena both have, I think, 18 receptions, over 200 yards through the 3 games. Pena's been really, really good. They've used him in some really cool spots. He's been great in the intermediate, just like getting open,
Yeah.
albeit against Villanova.
I think
And
Villanova's basketball team could beat Villanova's football team at football.
Potentially.
That's
Their
crazy.
quarterback play was atrocious. I'd argue I might have a better chance out there than what their quarterback play was 2 weekends ago. But they've used him really well. I think that's really been the story, that they've been trying to build some confidence and rapport, as I said there. I think they're going to run the ball 60% of the time this weekend. I think they can. I think they're able to.
They hope they will anyway.
With the way Oregon's looked against the running game so far, it's not been great. And that's the best way to, I think, give you the best chance against Oregon's offense, is keep your defensive line fresh and give Dennis Sutton 26 times he can pass rush at the quarterback really quickly and not 35, 40. I think that's the key to the game is Penn State, their ability to run the ball, and it's an indictment almost to say it, but to keep themselves out of spots where Drew Aller has to go and win them the football game. Make your running backs win this football game. Keep yourself out of 3rd and 8. And I think if they win the time of possession, they'll win this game.
Cool. So let's pick the game then.
Oh, I was going to say another thing.
Oh,
Sorry.
then
Sure.
Just about both teams being very clean. So Oregon, 3.7 penalties a game. Penn State, 3 penalties a game. That's 4th in the country. How much does the crowd impact Oregon? Are we getting delays of games? Are we getting false starts? That's going to be something that we really need to watch for, because as someone who watches the Michigan, Penn State opening snap delay of game at least once a month, that whiteout in the crowd is going to impact the game. The question is how much.
100%.
Can you get, how many pre-snap penalties can you get, and then how much can you, because that's going to be the second best stop to Oregon's offense is don't let them audible, don't let them go hurry up, don't let them run the offense they want to run, don't let them make adjustments. So how impactful is that defense going to, or the crowd going to be to kind of help that defense? That's what I wanted to say is, can they keep Oregon from playing clean? Because that's how Oregon plays right now.
With that being said, give us your pick. Penn State favored by 3.5 at home. Do you have them covering? Do you think Oregon covers?
All right, I'm going to pick Penn State to win, and 3.5. JP, help me with the math here. Is that a good, because you remember how you said 7.5 is a bad spread?
So you want to take 3.5.
Is a
you
bad
typically want to
spread.
take the team that is getting the 3.5,
Okay.
because then you win off a game-winning field goal.
Yeah.
3.5. If you're taking the team that's giving 3.5, you need 28-24
Yeah.
a ton. You need those kind of scores, 17-21.
Okay. I'll pick Penn State to win, Oregon to cover then. I'll take the betting advice of it being game-winning field goal 21-20.
Yes.
Or I guess that would probably be a game-winning touchdown if it was 21-20.
JP, who do you have?
When this spread was 2.5, I would have been all over 2.5. 3.5 is really tough to take Penn State to cover that, but they have to win this game. They will win this game, and they'll cover the spread. Penn State minus 3.5.
Sure.
I said Oregon, right?
It's definitely
Yes,
something
that's
we
what
should
I
have talked about a little more. There's so much more pressure in this matchup on Penn State than there is on Oregon.
Yeah, I didn't want to beat a dead horse of that.
That's fair. But now it's do I trust Penn State to perform under the pressure, as they haven't necessarily done so in recent years? But I will. Give me Penn State to cover. It'll be a close game. It'll be a good game. I don't think
My bad.
this is the one out of the three we've covered, and the one more we're gonna cover. That's I think the least likely to be a blowout.
Yeah,
But give me Penn State.
for sure. Sven's got Oregon winning and covering. But yeah, also I have I call it breaking news. Tucker, we have a ticket for you. There's a breaking news. I've got a ticket. I'll text you. I just wanted to break it on the show instead of just texting. It's more fun.
Bet.
So he will now be inside Davis Wade Stadium on Saturday.
Bring your cowbell.
Bring the cowbell. Jack, are you going inside the game?
No.
Okay. Well, bring your cowbell. Bring 2. I've heard a lot of people threatening to bring 2 cowbells.
Yeah. I
which-
might.
What? I mean, I've done it for it's so hard. You can only do it for short periods of time. I've done it every.
Got to work on your cowbell ringing form.
Well, I have
What
great
did you go
form.
to the gym for? Have you
I
not been
have-
doing your
okay, hold
cowbell
up, hold
Okay,
up.
but
exercises?
so how do you ring?
I don't want to ring. What do you mean? How do I ring? Like you're supposed to.
You ring like that?
Yeah.
See, I'm big on the belief of ringing it like this,
Oh no! Oh, that's just disgusting. That's
and that
okay.
It's
Actually,
easier.
when you're just trying to make noise.
and also I will say that there were studies done about how because cowbells are less effective than you might think because of the way you ring them, the sound goes up. And so if you really want to be most effective, that is you should ring them like you're whipping an egg or something like at the field. What I will say is, I was in band for 4 years, and so Sweet Dreams, I would take one of my friends. I think at one point I used actually Tucker's cowbell, and it would be a dual wield for Sweet Dreams, but that's not sustainable for an entire game. Like you say, I
It
need
has to
better
be.
form. You say I need better form.
It has to be.
When you're ringing a cowbell, you have to switch hands. Do you not switch hands throughout
no,
the game?
You don't
no,
have to.
I actually don't.
Oh wow, that's impressive. I'm a big
You're
know,
getting accused of not following the Bulldog way, JP.
Yes, Finn says that is not the Bulldog way. We ring over the head.
I ring over the head at times, but also when I'm just trying to make the most noise possible, I ring like I
Yeah.
just did there.
It's
Sure.
it's cost effective, right? Strenuousness,
Sure. Yeah.
strain on the body. But that's just not 2 cowbells. Dual wielding cowbells is not sustainable for 60 minutes or 4 hours, whatever you want to call it. So yes, Jack, you ready to move on?
Congrats on the ticket, Tucker. Good job securing said ticket.
Wear
Warhead
white.
Sanders.
Wear white.
If you
Wear
didn't already
white.
know.
Bring your cowbell once again. But let's get on to this next game, which is the SEC clash we're going to cover. As number 17 Alabama travels to number 5 Georgia. Georgia's favored by 3.5. It's a huge one for Kalen DeBoer. It's a huge one for Kirby Smart. Thoughts on this game? Key points, guys.
Man, yeah, this is a huge game because Georgia has struggled against Alabama. They have lost 9 of the last 10. So Alabama has kind of dominated this rivalry, this matchup. I'll call it a matchup. Rivalry, would you agree that's the right word at this point, given kind of the high-profile matchups they've had?
Can I call it like a modern rivalry, or is that
Yeah.
like a cop-out?
We'll stick with matchup. We aren't going to debate the
Okay.
the
I don't think it's a
nitpicky things.
rivalry.
Yeah, that's fair. They dominated the matchup as of recently. And another interesting thing is this is a huge game for Georgia. It's the first time they've hosted the game in Athens since 2015. They've had 4 matchups in Atlanta, 2 in Tuscaloosa, which some people were up in arms about that. That's influenced by the COVID year where everything got thrown out of whack. So there was the COVID year, which doesn't really count for anything. And then there was at Tuscaloosa last year, at Athens this year. So now we're back to a home-and-home situation, and then 1 matchup in Indianapolis. So this is like a big opportunity for Georgia. It's like it's the aligning of stars for Georgia to really break the curse. You've lost 9 of the last 10. Now you get it at home for the first time in 10 years after a really unfortunate loss last year where,
Get owned.
yeah, you go down big and then storm back in the second half, and then Ryan Williams makes a couple incredible catches, and you end up losing that game. But this is the opportunity Georgia needs with home field advantage for the first time. Alabama kind of down after the loss at Florida State, and you, as a Georgia fan, you kind of have to hope you can take advantage of that you can score on that defense, Stockton can run, right? I mean, he can move with the ball, so hopefully you can take advantage of that weakness Alabama has shown under Kalen DeBoer, and you can kind of you're not putting the nail in the coffin because Alabama is too good a football program, but it's a big step towards it's ending that curse and kind of setting yourself up. You own Texas, right? You beat them twice last year. And so now the only doubt is the Alabama matchup. If you win this game, it really just puts you at the top. You've owned Tennessee. You've already beat them once. You are the top dog in the SEC. It's kind of undisputable, I feel like.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I will say most of those losses were to Nick Saban, and not Kalen DeBoer. I mean, obviously, I know you know that. But it almost feels like a whole new chapter, and so like,
But that's what people thought going into last year, and then Alabama won anyway, and so now it like your own one against DeBoer. You've lost 9 of the last 10 against Alabama. It feels like an Alabama curse.
see, to me, it still doesn't. It feels like it's a new chapter, and like one game against the coach isn't enough to be like, oh, it's continuing. If that makes sense. Now,
That's
if you
fair.
lose this one and it's 2, and you've lost at home, and you've lost in back-to-back years, when Alabama's supposed to be down, then yeah, it does really feel like, oh, now you have a big Alabama monkey on your back, and you got to get it off. And then from Alabama's side, you lose this one, you're 2-2. You've lost your 2 biggest games, and
3 and no, they had a bye. They had a bye this week.
yeah.
My bad.
you're
Both teams
2-2.
coming off a bye.
You've lost your 2 biggest games, and the support, what little support is still there, I think may just end up being gone, which is crazy to say that losing at Georgia will like kind of, you'll lose the last little bit of support you have, but he's put himself in that spot. This team has put themselves in that spot. That's how I feel. I had Bama winning the national championship, and I've not jumped ship yet, but if they lose this game, it's going to be hard to not, because you already have 2 losses. Like, it just, good luck running the table the rest of the way. So I think it's huge in that. But now let's kind of get into the player matchups, X's and O's, and what do you have for us there, JP?
I think there's only one X and O.
Okay.
Quarterbacks.
I was going to try and guess. That's good. That's a good matchup.
It's
or a
been
good.
the story of this matchup through all the years. Has been quarterback play. Last year, Milroe outplayed Carson Beck in Tuscaloosa. He threw for 374, ran for 117, and had 4 total touchdowns. Carson Beck threw 3 picks that afternoon, or that evening, I should say. Milroe outplayed Carson Beck in the SEC Championship, the previous matchup. Beck had 0 touchdowns. Milroe had 2. The National Championship in Indianapolis, Stetson outplayed Bryce Young. Bennett had 2 touchdowns. Young threw 2 picks. The SEC Championship, Bryce Young outplayed Stetson. Bryce threw for 420 and Stetson threw 2 picks. The 2020 COVID game, Mac Jones destroyed Stetson Bennett. Threw for 420, 4 touchdowns. Stetson threw 3 picks in Tuscaloosa that day. And then the other 2 where Georgia literally lost to the same story twice. First, the National Championship and the SEC Championship. Jalen Hurts saves the day in the second half. Tua saves the day in the second half. Jake Fromm was outplayed down the stretch by both of them in those 2 games. So for me, whoever plays better at quarterback on Saturday wins this football game. I think that's been kind of the MO of this story. I think running game is potentially a wash with Jam Miller returning. Defensively, they both have the same amount of weapons, but does anyone really know if Gunnar Stockton's going to outplay Ty Simpson or Ty Simpson outplay Gunnar Stockton? No, and I think that's the story.
I love it. If you ask Kirby Smart, I think he'd say Ty Simpson will outplay Gunnar Stockton. Not actually, but he did call Ty Simpson the hottest quarterback in the SEC.
Attractively or physically?
I think he was saying
I
like
think he just meant like he's
hot-
playing really
he's
well
playing
right
really
now.
well.
But he did just say the
I'm
hottest
just
quarterback in
double-checking.
the SEC. He might have
You
been
never
talking
know.
about attractiveness, which I don't know if I'd agree there. I can't say I've ever really thought about it.
I feel like State's got a good shot at that. Shapen's got the curly golden hair. That helps him out.
Lenora Sellers.
Interesting.
That's true.
Tucker makes a great point. Tim Keenan comes back in the middle of the Alabama defense. Should help their rushing defense.
Yeah.
I disagree with your other point, though, Tucker. A big game DeBoer is a part of it, but also they've lost at Florida State, at Vanderbilt, at Oklahoma. They just don't win. They don't play well on the road. They've been terrible on the road with DeBoer. That's been the story, and this is Georgia's first finally a big game at home. Really, their only big game they've had in the Kirby Smart era has been they've had Notre Dame at home. I'd argue the game with Ole Miss at home was on that stage. Maybe the Tennessee game 3 years ago when Tennessee was ranked higher.
Yeah.
But they really haven't had this kind of moment. Prime time, national television. It's Fowler, Herb Street. They have this moment. I think the crowd is going to be insane in Sanford Stadium. I think it'll play the factor. I think we'll get
Sure.
that version of DeBoer more than we'll get the off the bye week version of DeBoer, because I don't think this is not Brian Kelly's LSU, and it's not last year's Georgia team. I think they're different in those cases. I don't think they'll just lie down and cry.
Well,
Georgia is not, like I said last week. Georgia, or 2 weeks ago, Georgia is not going to beat themselves. You have to go out there and beat them.
I think that's fair. I'm going to push back on Sven in the chat a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to. So you
Georgia's rushing or pass rush has really not been up to standard this year at all. It's been kind of average at best. And so I don't think it's just a guarantee that while Bama's O-line didn't look good against FSU, that it's going to get pushed around by this Georgia defensive line that just, once again, has not really impressed so far this season. Jam Miller coming back he's probably Alabama's best pass blocking back. So in terms of a pass pro standpoint, him coming back is huge just for that, let alone his running ability. But I don't think it's just a foregone conclusion that Simpson's going to be running for his life all game.
Yeah.
And if they let him stand back there, he's shown, I know against bad competition, but that he can kind of pick teams apart. He can kind of go through reads. He can find spots in zone.
Yeah, Georgia's got 3 sacks. 3 sacks in 3 games.
Yeah.
That is not, and that's against, actually, I was about to say that's against, I can't even remember who they played off the top of my head.
Marshall, Austin P, and Tennessee.
Thank you, Tennessee.
Yeah.
So 2 lesser opponents and then Tennessee. So that's definitely a concern is can Georgia's edge rushers get to Simpson? I think, if I remember correctly, like Georgia's pressures, like the majority of Georgia's pressures come after like 3 seconds or something. I believe that's what I heard in the podcast this morning. So that'll be a big deal. And then another thing, that's what I was going to talk about, is time of possession. Georgia has dominated the time of possession through their first 3 games due to their run game, 60%. So that's a big deal. Can they, do you think they'll try and use that, or do you expect them to try and use Stockton and then wide receiver Zachariah Branch and then the other guy you talked about, JP?
London Humphreys.
Yes.
I think they'll do whatever the hell they want, honestly. I don't think
in Alabama won't be able to stop anything?
I don't think no. Alabama will be able to stop some things. But I don't think their game plan is going to be limited. I think they earned a ton of confidence from the Tennessee game. Now your only pushback on that is that Mike Bobo is still calling plays. And so the haters have been quiet for 2 weeks because Gunnar Stockton cooked at Tennessee, but that very well could change.
They're waiting. They have tweets in the draft.
By halftime, that could change immediately.
First quarter.
Yeah,
First drive.
Yeah, how that feels in the fan base. But
first play is a bad play. Immediately, everything's posted.
I think they'll play a lot more free and do whatever the hell they want. I honestly think they'll try to stretch the field. I think they'll run the ball really well. I think they'll run Gunnar Stockton more. I don't think Kirby's going to look across the sideline and look at that Alabama defense with what Florida State did and think, oh, they're going to be able to shut us down in ways. I think they're going to go out there and try and do whatever they want. So now the onus is on Alabama's defense to prove what everyone thought they were in the preseason, which was elite.
Agreed.
So I don't think they'll hold back. And Gunnar, I think, will play with a ton of confidence as well.
As he should. All right, let's pick this game. UGA is favored by 3.5. Sanders, I'm gonna make you go first again, so you can't snipe any of us in the pick'em.
I've only done that for 1 game, and it was
too late. You're going first for the rest
Georgia.
of the pod.
I'm picking Georgia to
You're
cover.
picking
That's
Georgia
for the
to
rest
cover.
of the pod.
For the rest of this episode.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Georgia to cover.
The line just moved again.
Okay.
What's it at now?
It's officially Georgia minus 2.5.
Okay. 2.5. So that probably makes you feel even better.
Yeah, that makes you feel. I mean, I would have picked Georgia. I've got Georgia winning this probably a touchdown. I feel very good about Georgia going into this matchup.
Are you sure?
2.5. Yes.
You've already changed that much in a year?
We don't
That's a
have to
good
get
point.
into the extenuating circumstances that led to me externally cheering for Alabama, internally cheering for Georgia a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
I said roll Tide. I will have to live with that until the day that I die. Jack sent a screenshot. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a great one.
It is me and my ex-girlfriend. I'm wearing an Alabama polo that I borrowed from her brother. I went to the game with her family, and I said roll Tide. because I think that I
Simp.
felt that I had to say Roll Tide because I feel like I was pretty clearly enjoying Georgia's comeback. And
Oh, dude, you can't care about that.
no, you can when her parents paid for your ticket or gave you a ticket.
What
that
were
was
they
worth,
done? He
like,
kicked you out?
her dad is big enough. He might just throw me off the upper deck. I don't know.
Well, then that would have been kind of fire. You could have gone down back in your team.
I'll say, speaking from experience, I don't care about poo-pooing on Alabama in front of my girlfriend's parents.
Well, I'm very happy that you feel comfortable doing it. Okay, but like, imagine Chomps. Like, he would never be able to do something around his fiance, right? Like,
Do you think
she
he's
would
ever said Roll Tide?
that's a good question.
Actually, that's a great question. I need.
Can we get a text to Chomps?
I'm
real quick?
gonna text in. He probably is. He has yapping muted. I'm gonna text him right now.
Yeah, don't ask him in yapping.
I bet he has.
Yeah, he probably has.
Yeah.
Okay, so you picked Georgia to cover
Yes.
the 2.5. Our graphics wrong because it just moved.
Yeah,
I
I'm gonna
literally
update the
just moved
sheet.
in the past 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Update the sheet. Georgia.
Tucker
2.5.
talks of
I
Oh, you already
updated
got
it.
Preach.
Tucker talks of what kind of feels like a legend at this point. That is Big Game DeBoer. We came to know it really well at Washington. Their big wins over Oregon. Their semifinal win against Texas. Even earlier last season, even though it feels so long ago, their win against Georgia. And I may be foolish, but I still believe in that guy. This is my last ride with Kalen DeBoer. I believe in the talent on defense. I believe in Ty Simpson. I believe in Jeremy Bernard, and I believe in Ryan Williams. I honestly think I believe in Jeremy Bernard more than Ryan Williams because he's a dog. Give me Alabama to win. To kind of make a big statement, show that Kalen DeBoer's Alabama can win on the road, that they're for real, that the Florida State game was a fluke. They've kind of circled the wagons, righted the ship internally, and they're ready to just win football game after football game after football game down the stretch. And it starts here.
So that makes
Give me Bama.
2 games that Jack has picked differently than the two of us.
Yeah, I'm taking Georgia. Minus 2.5. That's now. That was already. That's when I bet it. It was 2.5. It's one of my best bets of the week. Georgia minus 2.5. That's. I like Georgia in this game a ton. Not by a ton, but I like them in this game a ton. I just think it really fits well for them and Kirby, and off a bye too. Like, if it was the week after the Tennessee game, maybe you're in a different story. But they had a week to reset and enjoy that Tennessee win, but now get refocused for the Alabama game. And I think they're going to be ready to go. I think that crowd's going to be amazing. Although that stadium is not really that great, the environment will be good enough on Saturday night to win them that game against Ty Simpson and the Tide. Give me the Dogs. Minus 2.5.
This could be a massive week for me.
Any day of the week.
Yeah.
A massive game of the week.
You've got 3 different picks than me and JP. So that's
Sure.
you picked Tennessee.
And I'm 4 different than you.
Yeah, I mean, the only one that me and you have in common was the Washington pick,
Go
and we all
Huskies.
3 picked that.
All right. Real quick, JP, you want to give us the other big game spreads
walk
and we
us
can
through.
pick them?
Yeah. So we've got 5 other games that, like, if we were able to do a 4-hour show, we'd talk about these games as well.
You don't want to do a show tomorrow or something?
No, because, I don't know if we'll get our content out quick enough for
We definitely would
a
not.
Saturday morning. But there's 5 big games. They start tomorrow night. The Florida State Cinnamon Rolls go to Virginia to play the Cavaliers. FSU is favored by 6.5, which is surprising. Honestly, that FSU is only favored by 6.5. Maybe it's a big story about the Cavaliers and how they're playing so far this year. Do you have any insight on that, Jack? And what's your pick?
Well, I gotta trust my team.
The only time I've ever heard you refer to UVA as your team is when we were playing there in the
I do it multiple times.
college baseball postseason, and then you literally posted every UVA baseball graphic about how they beat us.
That was a good
And
time.
that
It
is
was
the
a good.
only-
It was a good meme.
That was the
I've referred to them as my team before.
no, you definitely have. That's just like the most
my
pronounced.
Cavaliers. It
Yeah,
definitely was.
They are not one of your teams except for when State was playing there, and then you're like, "Let's go."
That's not true. One of the most frustrated I've ever been cheering for sports is when I thought Virginia was going to lose to Auburn in the Final Four, and then Ty Jerome gets away with a double dribble, and then Kyle Guy gets fouled in the corner and hits 3 free throws, and we win. I was fully invested. Those are my Cavaliers right there. That's where my dad went to school.
Cheating.
It happens.
He was not fouled.
He was definitely fouled. You didn't give him space to land, man.
Uh,
Bruce Pearl
it was a
deserves
different
it.
sport then.
Bruce Pearl deserves it.
This is fair.
So they're
Uh,
playing really well. Honestly, they should be undefeated. The loss to NC State was brutal. Quarterback threw a terrible pick to end the game. I don't know what he was looking at.
Yeah. Chandler Morris, the North Texas transfer.
It's for UVA though. It's a much improved group from last year. They brought in a bunch of transfers. The question is, can they really slow down Thomas Castellanos or not? But I'm going to trust them that even if they can't slow down Thomas Castellanos, they're going to be able to score enough points to cover and win this game in a stunner Friday night.
Cover and win. Wow.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to pick Florida State to cover. I've liked Florida State all season, so I'm going to stick with them. I think that they hit the upside that comes with the transfer portal. Something we just talked about all season is the variance. Was it on the show that we were talking about how transfer portal you either hit and you're good or you miss?
It feels that way, yes.
Yeah. And how we couldn't think off the top of our head about a situation where a team brought in a full roster of transfers and finished average.
I think the only example now that comes to mind is the School of North, Old Miss, with their transfers of Walter Nolan and stuff like that. They did not live up to expectations last year. They were kind of mid. They were good, but I
Yeah.
think they were just where they were expected to be.
They finished 9-3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
10-3 with the
they
the
were
bowl game
they were
win.
supposed to make the playoff.
Yeah.
With all of their transfers.
Yet you lose to Kentucky.
Yeah.
That was unfortunate.
Fire.
But you beat Georgia, so they also
Yeah, but
Exceeded
you beat
Even a
Carson
blind
back.
squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
And that one they cheated too anyway.
well, Tucker said he's
Lots
fine
of
with cheating
cheating
as long as it's
accusations
Auburn
here.
getting
Fog
screwed.
fog machines in the building. I'm going to take the cinnamon rolls to cover. I think the spread's disrespectful. I think it should be 8.5, which in the betting world, 2 points is disrespectful.
Sure.
It may not feel that way to some, but I think it's disrespectful.
Okay.
I think it should be 8.5, 9.5. So give me Florida State to win by a touchdown. Game-winning drive from Tommy Castellanos. Call it right now.
If Terrell Harris has 3 touchdowns in the first half again for Virginia, does that change your mind?
No, because I think FSU is going to get what they want
Okay. Fair enough.
as well. I think it could be a shootout.
All right, take us to the next one, JP.
Next one, we'll go to your other team, Jack. Auburn and Jackson Arnold flies right back across to Texas, just south of Oklahoma, and has to play at College Station. Huge look-ahead game for the Aggies. Obviously, the Dogs are coming to town next week. But Jackson Arnold and the Auburn Tigers are 6.5-point dogs again, this time at Kyle Field. Who do you got here?
I'm going to take my Aggies because they're my Aggies, but also based on what I've seen from Jackson Arnold and Auburn's offense, I think A&M's offense or A&M's defense, can slow them down. Even though we've not been the most complete group, I think we can slow them down, and I think we can. I've seen a lot of Auburn fans predicting the score, and they have us scoring 17 points, 14 points, and I just kind of tells me that that they've not bought into what they've seen from A&M's offense so far. And I know Auburn has a good defense, but I think we're going to be able to get enough of what we want and just outscore them. And I don't think I trust Jackson Arnold to. If you want to talk about a QB matchup, I'll just put it there. Marcel Reed, Jackson Arnold. Who do you trust more? I trust Marcel Reed more.
100%.
So I'm going to take A&M to cover. And also, last thing, Auburn's a lot more banged up than we are. Connor Liu may not play their center. A couple defensive injuries. Their running backs questionable. Third-string wide receivers not going to play. Horatio Fields. Just everything's pointing to A&M for me. So I'm going to pick us to cover.
Yeah, I will also pick y'all to cover there.
Yeah, I think 6.5 is disrespectful. I was all over Oklahoma 6.5, and I think A&M's better than Oklahoma.
Sure.
So I'm taking A&M minus 6.5 as well. I almost made that a best bet, but I have not.
I wouldn't do a best bet with A&M.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
That's a tough road stretch for Auburn, having to go Oklahoma and to A&M back-to-back weeks.
And they've already played at Baylor as well, so they've made that
They've
trip
been-
now the
Yeah.
third time.
Might just buy a second home in Texas for them.
We go now to the 2 noon games. We'll start with the one that's on Fox. USC goes to Illinois. Jade Mayava versus the Fighting Illini, who were embarrassed last week at Indiana. USC is favored by 6.5. Again, this is a big noon kickoff, meaning a 9 a.m. local time kick for USC.
That's just sickening.
Last week, they kicked at 8 p.m. local time, meaning they went from the latest possible slot, 8 p.m. on the West Coast, to noon on the East Coast.
Lincoln Riley's not happy about
He was
Nope.
not happy about that at all this week. But USC is favored by 6.5. Trojans Fighting Illini. Who you got, boys?
I think I'll take USC to cover, win by about a touchdown. It's so hard because I think I know Illinois is not as bad as they looked last weekend. But even if they're not that bad, if they're just a little bit better, USC is still the better football team in my opinion, and they're playing good football right now. So I'm going to take them to cover. It's just I have no idea what to think about Illinois anymore, to be honest. So I'm going to take the team I feel more comfortable in. Sanders?
Sorry, Chomps just responded to my text. We'll have to go. He sent me some fire stuff. I'll have to tell
Okay,
you all
bet.
about it. USC at Illinois. Was that Illinois? So Illinois was on the road at Indiana, get blown out by 53, turn
Yeah.
around, host USC. USC's been looking really good offensively. So I'm going to lean towards USC covering. The concerning stuff from that Illinois offense just kind of like dying last week, and
I'm more worried about their defense personally.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is like I don't think that their offense is gonna be able to keep up with as many points as their defense allows.
Sure.
So I'm gonna pick USC to cover.
Fair.
Yeah, Trojans have been running the ball really, really well. And with the way Indiana ran the ball last week and then was able to set up the pass because of it, I just think the Trojans might do the same exact thing to Illinois. They are not guaranteed to get their defensive back that missed last week. Their best defensive back, forgot his name. And I think that'll play a factor again here.
It was Xavier something, I believe.
Yeah, Xavier Scott was his name.
Yep.
Give me Jaden Mayava, Lincoln Riley to win. I think it'll be close, though. I
Sure.
think they'll just win by a touchdown and cover 6.5. The other noon game, the Fighting Irish got their big win over Purdue last week, where Purdue pulled out all the stops but was unable to outscore Notre Dame. Notre Dame goes to Pig Sucky in Arkansas and Fayetteville, who lost in just devastating fashion last week at Memphis,
For the second week in a row.
fumbling the ball inside the
It's just
10-yard line.
It's so pretty,
And they unfortunately lost at the Liberty Bowl. Sam Pittman's job might be on the line this weekend. We'll see. Notre Dame is favored by 4.5 on the road. Does Sam Pittman get fired if they lose, and who do you have?
Sam Pittman does not get fired if they lose. Not yet. I just don't think there's a ton of... I guess my finger's not on the pulse of Arkansas fans, but I don't think there's a ton of credence to firing your coach this early in the season. I also just don't think it's that bad yet. You might as well wait a couple more weeks and see something can turn. Because also the offense is quite good, right? Like they're going to find themselves in a lot of games because of the offense. That being said, I have Notre Dame winning this because Notre Dame, as good as Arkansas's offense is, I think Notre Dame's is better. CJ Carr looks phenomenal. I love the running backs they have. Jeremiah Love, Price. You don't really beat that. And then Notre Dame has the players and athletes on the defensive side that I think they can make a couple plays. Taylor Green is good for, one or two boneheaded decisions a game. Maybe they pick him off once or twice. And so they win a fairly high-scoring affair at Arkansas, and they cover the 4.5.
I'm going to pick Arkansas to cover the 4.5. I think that Taylor Green and Omega Blake, is that his name, the wide receiver?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
they're going to be able to put up enough points, and I think that Notre Dame secondary has looked really bad. At first against Miami and then against A&M, giving up 40-something to A&M, and I don't remember how many they gave up to
Only 20-something to Miami.
20-something to Miami.
27.
I think they're going to give up a lot of points again to Arkansas because that's what Arkansas can score points. They're allowed to Arkansas can fumble the game away so long as it's by less than 4.5. So they can be driving for the game-winning field goal and fumble it, and I still cover. So I'm going to be picking Arkansas to cover.
Fair enough.
Fair. I think it's going to be a shootout. It's got the same total as the State-Tennessee game. It's 63.5. I think the over hits very easily. I think both of these teams are scoring in the 30s, and it looks a lot like that Memphis game last week. But I think the Irish cover and win by a touchdown in Fayetteville. So give me Notre Dame to be 2-2 and maybe sneak back into my top 25 next week. We'll see.
Sven has Arkansas beating Notre Dame, not just covering, but winning and ending their season. Yeah, it would certainly be over with a loss here. Notre Dame cannot recover from that. JP, I don't know if you want to address Tucker's question about helmet bias and feeling like the spread is too close.
I mean, I agree to some degree, but I don't think the spread's actually that bad. My spread would have been 5.5. I think you could just get in such a weird middle ground with these kinds of games, and with the amount of points that Arkansas can score, I think that comes into consideration when making a spread for this game. Now let me see if the spread has moved. The spread started at Notre Dame -6.5, and it's moved down to 4.5, which I understand. Like a team that scores as many points as Arkansas can, you have more backdoor covers than you have Notre Dame winning by a blowout. So
Sure.
the spread doesn't seem that crazy to me at 4.5. But I would take 4.5. I wouldn't bet 5.5 or 6.5.
Yeah.
For Notre Dame, I don't think it's that bad. Honestly, it's not the worst spread of the weekend, as we'll find out here in a second when we get to my best bets after the NFL.
Yeah.
We're gonna be here for a while still.
Last game, LSU returns to Old Piss, the school up north. Spread opened. LSU was favored by 1.5, but now it has moved to Old Miss being favored by 1.5. Austin Simmons is healthy. He's not on the injury report, but I don't know if they've made an official announcement of whether or not he will play.
I saw someone said they had. I don't know that I saw like the official.
Yeah, I haven't seen the official.
Yeah.
I've seen that. I think they'll play Austin, but there's no reason to really not use Trinidad. When Trinidad has played, he's had 16 design carries. So I think they'll use both. I think they'll use Trinidad to run, and Austin, of course, to throw. But I don't understand why the spread has moved. The LSU deserves to be favored. They should be favored. The way they play defensively, defense travels on the road, and I think they have a better offense. Straight up, even with how bad their offense has played so far. I think Nussmeier showed in the Clemson game that he's not afraid of a road environment, and full disrespect to Ole Miss. Clemson's environment is a million times better than that high school stadium. So give me the Tigers to cover 1.5. I'm getting points, and I think they're the better team. I like LSU.
I agree. I'm also taking LSU here to cover and win. This is going to be the best defense Ole Miss has faced so far. So regardless of what QB plays and who does what, I think LSU is going to be able to stifle and slow down that offense. And I think I'm calling it now, this is where we kind of start to see an LSU offensive turnaround, and they start putting some pieces together with Garrett Nussmeier and the weapons they have. So give me LSU to cover.
Yeah, I'll also be picking LSU to cover. My question for y'all is, how does the Landry Kiffin announcement
Hard launch
affect the outcome of this game?
I don't
Not
think
at
it's
all.
the biggest Kiffin story of the week.
The documentary.
And then planes from Gainesville have been flying to Oxford apparently. So
Yeah,
Telling you, that's Ole Miss. You should have taken better care of him.
I think they've taken great care.
I think he's going to be the next Florida Gators head coach.
I don't think he's been very happy with his time there, man.
Yeah.
He's complained a lot.
Hmm.
And I know he's a complainer, but he's complained especially a lot. Shall we move on to the NFL, boys?
Yes.
A nice
Let
hour
me-
and 59 minutes
Let
into
me
the show.
real quick,
yeah, give us
talking
your-
about Alabama saying Roll Tide. I have said Roll Tide. I texted a friend of ours, Chomps, who is now engaged to an Alabama graduate. Potentially one of the biggest Alabama, like as far as sports fans goes,
She's
up there as like huge Alabama fan. And so I said, "Have you ever said Roll Tide?" He said it with his lips, but never his heart, which I would agree with. When I said it at the Alabama game, I literally felt sick to my stomach, but I felt like I had to. And I asked, okay, well, we're talking about on the show, have you worn Alabama apparel? And he said he wore it one time for the USF game at Bryant-Denny, but only an alternate logo. Which I don't. Does that is that better?
Doesn't help. No.
I'm about to say I don't know if you're if you're repping the colors. I don't know that it matters. He says this is my favorite part. He has said repeatedly that cheering for Alabama can only be safely done on the covenant of marriage, and only if your significant other cheers for state equally as much. Which I don't know that. I feel like she definitely doesn't. Well, I guess if she's cheering,
there's some copium.
No. She cheers for state as much as she cheers for Alabama, not as much as she
Yeah.
cheers for
Okay.
Alabama.
Yeah.
So she cheers for state equally as much as he cheers for Alabama, which is not a lot, but just enough to get the job done, the bare minimum.
Valid.
He said that he fears that state's SEC annual opponents are not setting up his marriage for success.
It's gonna be a house
Oh
divided.
man,
That's
he's,
good stuff.
He's definitely not watching because he was surprised, and I told him we were talking about it. But shout out Chomps, because
Yeah.
dude, I'm
Thanks for responding, man.
yeah, that's hilarious. Only under the covenant of marriage.
Now shall we get on to the
Yes.
NFL?
Now let's
Thank
do
you
the
for
NFL.
that, Sanders. 3 games as always. The first one, the Eagles, after pulling off a big win against the Rams, they go to Tampa Bay to face the Buccaneers, and they are favored by 3.5 on the road. Thoughts on this game, guys? Key points. Give them to me.
The key point, and I've said a couple things on Twitter about this, and we talked about it on Tuesday or Sunday's show, definitely Tuesday, is the tush push. I said this weeks ago. I said that I was circling the matchup for the Eagles against the Buccaneers on my calendar because one of the Eagles' greatest weapons is short yardage situations, 3rd and 2, 4th and 1, goal line situations. Like they have guaranteed yardage in the tush push. And the Buccaneers, I think, might be the team best equipped to stop that. They've got Vita Vea on that interior defensive line, who's been an animal for years, and now they signed to their practice squad. They have not. I don't know if they brought him to their active roster.
They have not yet.
What is his? Desmond Watson.
Desmond Watson.
Did we confirm that's his actual name?
Yes.
Okay. We were doing our best to remember on our last show. Desmond Watson is on the practice squad. Be interested. That is something I'll be monitoring closely as the game gets closer. Is do they promote him to the active roster? And if not, are they using him in practice scenarios, where they're putting him in the offensive line and just having him push to kind of condition the defense for what that offensive line is going to feel like. But yeah, this is a matchup that I've been really excited for to see how the Tampa Bay defense handles that tush push. And then on the other side of the ball, the Buccaneers offense is very good. You've got Baker Mayfield throwing to Emeka Egbuka. You don't have Mike Evans. I assume he's out multiple weeks with a hamstring injury.
Yes, Chris Godwin may be back, though. So
Really?
You may have just lost one and returned the other.
Okay, so potential Chris Godwin return. I don't know how much you're going to expect from him in a week where it's I don't know if it's the right way to approach it, but if it's kind of down to the wire, if he's going to play, I am more hesitant and less confident in him than if it's it's been full go since Monday, because it's if he's that close to the edge of being ready to go versus not ready to go, I'm a little bit more conservative on my expectations for him.
Sure.
And your expectations for a guy coming off of a severe injury are always going to be lower. He's not just going to be 2021 Chris Godwin or whatever year he was in his prime, 2022 maybe. I can't remember off the top of my head. So my expectations for him are definitely lower. So does that mean Emeka Egbuka is wide receiver 1? If so,
He's got that easy.
yeah, I love him.
Dog.
Have been on him since all of our draft preview stuff. I got him in fantasy in multiple leagues. I got him in a keeper league. Oh, it's so nice. It's just such a good feeling. I also have Baker Mayfield in that league, and I think Baker's got many years left ahead of him. So what does that look like? The Buccaneers offense against the Eagles defense, which I still like. JP, they've been holding opponents to 21 points a game, so not great, and then 318 yards per game. But we've talked about, I think you've been a little bit lower on some of the replacements they've had, especially along the defensive line. They're definitely not the same elite D-line that they have been in their past 2 Super Bowl runs, winning one and losing another. They're not the same tier. I still think they're good. And then I think that secondary is good with Cooper DeJean. I really like Makuba. Is that his name?
Yeah.
He's been playing well out of Texas. You're allowed horns down all day, but he has been playing well, getting a crucial pick did he have a pick in the what pick was
The Chiefs game.
The Chiefs game.
He-
Thank you.
he
He
was the
picked
one.
off the Kelsey fumble, whatever you want to call it, the bobble. So how does that defense match up against this offense? I think those will be some interesting things to watch. Is tush push and then wide receiver room. How healthy is it for the Buccaneers?
I completely disagree. The Eagles' defense is not good. They're opportunistic. They blocked 2 field goals last week, but they kind of just bend not break last week against the Rams, forced field goals. But that I don't think it was watching it. It was not necessarily a statement of Eagles' defense held them. It was the Rams just missed a spot. The Chiefs are terrible offensively, and so that wasn't really a fair matchup. And the Cowboys got what they wanted until we were in a weather delay for an hour and a half. So I think the Buccaneers are going to get whatever they want on Sunday. I think Makuba has been good in the run game, but he has not been in the pass game really whatsoever as a coverage guy.
He's the perfect example of you saying they've been opportunistic. Like
Yeah.
he's made a couple big plays, but it's not holistically been there.
Absolutely. Now, Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis have been amazing, and Zach Bond has been good. But I just don't think that defense as a whole has really played that well, although the points per game have kind of tells that story. And recency bias tells you that the last 2 big plays they made were a pick and then blocking a field goal. And so I think the Bucs are going to get what they want offensively.
Get all worried about their offensive line injuries.
Tristan Wirfs may play,
Okay.
but it hasn't mattered.
Yeah.
And I would argue it was against better defensive lines. The Jets I would argue, a better defensive line with Quinn and Williams and their pass rushers, Will McDonald specifically. The Texans with Will Anderson, that might be the best pass rush in
And
the league.
What's his name?
Danielle Hunter.
Danielle Hunter, not
Yeah.
Danielle.
And then the Falcons' defense, at least on the defensive line, has played fine.
You just don't know week to week.
Yeah, they're just the Falcons. So I don't think the tackles are going to be an issue.
Okay.
What I said, like in my pyramid on Tuesday, it doesn't matter who the Bucs have, who's healthy, who's not. As long as Baker's out there and he's got a receiver to throw to, he's going to find a way to get it done.
Yeah.
I think Baker leads another game-winning drive on Sunday, and I think the Bucs beat the Eagles. Offensively, my question for the Eagles is just, are they going to open up the attack? And I think they need to, for Saquon's sake.
They have to.
They
'Cause-
need to unload these boxes, and the ability to get back to the threat of Saquon big run is key.
Yeah. The Buccaneers have a great run defense.
Yeah.
So if you're not going to help Saquon at all by at least making the safeties respect the pass, he's not going to do anything. He's going to be stunted. My biggest point for the Eagles was don't give Baker Mayfield the chance to have a game-winning drive because he will convert the game-winning drive and you will lose. And then the last thing is I'm just interested to see, talking about them opening up the passing game, we said no more questions, Your Honor. And so this isn't really a question. I think it can happen. But Zion McCollum and Jamel Dean are bigger-bodied cornerbacks. They're both around 6 foot, 6'1", 200 pounds. A lot bigger than what the Rams have in Emmanuel Forbes and such, where they're
Certainly.
160.
Yeah.
So it's a better matchup. I still trust A.J. Brown to get open and stuff, but it just may not be as easy. So I'm interested to watch that. The spread, Philly, I already mentioned, is favored by 3.5. I'm picking the Buccaneers to cover. Y'all, what do y'all have?
I will also be picking the Buccaneers to cover. I've already talked about I love their offense, and I like the way their defense matches up against the Eagles. So I'm not going to ramble about that anymore, but I like the Buccaneers. I just think they're a really good team, and I like the way Baker Mayfield leads the team, the 2-minute, like the game-winning drives and his presence. I like what he's kind of grown into as a quarterback there, so I'm going to pick them to cover.
Yeah.
And win. And win.
Well, they would have to.
Are they...
They're underdogs by 3.5. The
Oh, you're
spread
right.
opened
Sorry,
at Philly minus 2.5. If it was Philly minus 2.5, I'd be all over Philly. But I'm going to take the Bucs with the 3.5 points.
Cool.
To cover that spread. I don't know if they'll win though. I do think Baker if he gets the chance, he's going to lead a game-winning drive.
He may not get the chance.
He may not get the chance.
Sure.
though.
All right, that's another technical foul sweep, which is pretty common for the NFL, honestly. Our next game Ravens at Chiefs, two teams that I don't think we thought would be here at 1-2 at this point of the season. In what almost feels like a must-win game, technically it's not, but you really don't want to be 1-3. Baltimore's favored by 2.5, so the Chiefs are once again home dogs, which is very rare, but it kind of speaks to the troubles they're having this year offensively. What are y'all's thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, it is a really bad situation. For either team, you come out at a loss here. The Ravens are, then they're 1-3 with a loss to the Bills and a loss to the Chiefs, who the Chiefs probably won't be pushing for a 1 seed, but that's still just 2 losses to 2 teams that you think are going to be competing down the stretch, whether it's for wild cards, seeding. Like, that's just not 2 losses you want to have if you're the Ravens. And then if you're the Chiefs, you're 1-3, and you have a loss against the Chargers in your division. There's a good chance they finish the weekend 4-0, going to New York. That's a really bad situation because now you're talking about not even winning your division if you're a Chiefs fan. Yeah, bad setup for both teams coming into this game. I think the big key will Xavier Worthy fully participated in practice on Wednesday, I think, or Tuesday. He participated in practice this week, so he's back in theory healthy. JP, you said something about him on Tuesday's show about potential re-injury.
Yeah, so he actually fully participated last Friday before they would end up playing in New York. He, with his injury, dislocated shoulder. If he were to take, what has happened is he's lost stability in the shoulder, and it's almost like the Karl Anthony Towns shoulder injury a year and a half ago. No, the Julius Randle shoulder injury, if you remember that one.
That makes more sense.
Yes, where he just has struggle, of course, lifting his arm above his head. For Julius Randle, that matters because you got to do that to play basketball.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to do that for Xavier Worthy playing football, but if he were to take a hit, it very likely could pop out. That's the same thing was happening with Julius, where like his shoulder could just pop out shooting a ball. So he had to get surgery. Xavier needs to avoid hits, and it's about a 50-50 chance on taking a hit that he would pop his shoulder out, and then he would have to get the surgery.
Yeah.
He'd have no choice at that point. So he'd have to protect himself if he does plays.
Yeah, trying to avoid getting hit while playing football. I mean, that's kind of the goal, I guess, if you're a wide receiver or running back, but then it becomes a matter of, surgery, season-ending surgery or not.
And at his size, like, a hit could be just a little touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be like a
saw what
corner
Travis
playing
Kelce
press
did to him.
coverage
Yeah.
who just gets physical. So that's a scary thing to monitor for the Chiefs because if you lose him at wide receiver, it's back to just really Hollywood Brown and Tyquan Thornton.
Tyquan Thornton's been the best receiver.
Who's been playing very well. But you're still missing Rashee Rice, thank you, due to suspension for another
criminal
3 games
Yes.
after this. 2 games because this is week 4, 6-game suspension. So
Well,
you'll be
yeah,
missing
including
him
this one.
3 games, including this game. I've got the stats up here, and so I can't really ask y'all. I asked Chromie earlier. We were hanging out playing, and I said, I asked him about the Ravens offense, what they average, where they rank in points per game. And he was like, I think you're trying to fool me, so I'm just going to say 27. It's first. The Ravens offense is averaging 37 points per game. I mean, they're just absolutely frying. And then if you look at their defensive points per game, they are 31st, allowing 32 points per game. And that's an easy way to find yourself in a bad situation is if you're allowing 32 points per game in the NFL, where often you see scores like 20-17, 17-14, 21-17. That is probably a typical NFL game is like upper teens, lower 20s. If you're giving up 32 points per game, you are setting yourself up for failure. They're last in the NFL in yards per game allowed at 415. We think the Chiefs offense is bad. We know the Chiefs offense has been playing bad. But they have Patrick Mahomes, and so we kind of not expect them. There's always a chance that he could go off and have a night and play like the best quarterback in the NFL and win them a game. And he's doing that against the Ravens defense this weekend. What are your thoughts on that matchup? A really putrid Ravens defense against Patrick Mahomes in a banged-up wide receiver room.
Yeah, well, this is the prove-it game for the Ravens defense in terms of, y'all want to act like you're still a good unit. And right now, you could kind of try to convince yourself, well, we played the Bills and we played the Lions, right? Like, those are just two top offenses, and they got away from us. This Chiefs offense hasn't played well against anyone yet. And so if they play well against you, you lose any credibility to try and act like you're a good defense still. So this is your chance to find consistency on defense and prove that you're still a competent and good unit, because literally everyone else has done that against the Chiefs, right? So make your statement. And it's the flip for the Chiefs of, like, this is your opportunity to play a defense that's struggling. Even if they want to say they're still good, they're clearly giving up more points and yards than they would like. So now here's your chance to take advantage against a bit of a struggling unit and prove that you can still be a competent and quality offense. So it goes both ways. I'm not entirely sure what I expect to happen, but it's definitely a good point. It's a kind of a key matchup on both sides.
Here
Yeah.
comes JP to disagree with me again.
No, I think I'm not sure it necessarily applies, because I think this is just a different scenario, because these are just two teams that they will have now played each other 3 times in 19 months, which means they've played each other more than they've played even their divisional opponents. And point blank, Mahomes owns Lamar. He's 6-1 against Lamar Jackson, and he has every game but one outperformed him statistically. And I just expect Mahomes to play well against this defense, and I agree. Like, I don't think the Ravens are going to stop the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to score 30 plus. I think they'll do that this weekend in Arrowhead. My biggest concern is on the Ravens' offense side, even though they're the number 1 ranked offense in the nation, or in the league, I should say. They last week were pressing. You could clearly tell that, like, when Lamar went off the field and they hadn't scored points, he was frustrated visibly, and it almost felt like in him it was like, man, we needed that score to have a chance in this game because our defense is playing so bad. Week 1, they took their foot off the gas pedal for no reason the last time they have the ball against the Bills. And then you have the Derrick Henry fumbles. And I think that actually plays a factor. Not
Sure.
that he fumbles, but like I said on Tuesday, I'm concerned that he's going to run differently because he is just trying to protect the ball and get through the game without fumbling it. And when you think of Derrick Henry, you think of, one, his ability to just blow by you, which he's a freak at. He's just faster than everyone somehow. But 2, you think of his stiff arms. You think of him running through people, running through tackles, not being afraid.
He plays like
Falling
fumbling isn't
forward.
a possibility.
Because it hasn't been.
Right.
And now it is. I think it might hinder him in his effectiveness. And so I think that more so plays the story of, does the Ravens offense, are they able to score that many points? Are they able to play that way? Are they going to play pressing in a road environment and Lamar turns it over? Like, I think they're going to treat this like a playoff game. And they haven't been good in the playoffs, especially
Sure.
they haven't been good against the Chiefs in their one chance. So,
Yeah.
especially offensively, they've been terrible in the playoffs. And I think they'll play it that way, and I don't think it's going to go well for Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean, talking about Mahomes being Lamar's kryptonite, it's not like Mahomes has always played great against Detroit. Lamar has an 81.9 passer rating in 5 games against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And his best game against the Chiefs statistically was actually his first game against the Chiefs, like pre him kind of ascending to a top QB in the league. So especially under Spags, he has not had any success against the Chiefs. They've been his kryptonite.
Mm-hmm.
And so I completely agree. And I agree with them looking like they were pressing. And I also agree that their offense, while they have scored the most points per game in the league, and that's something you should hang your hat on, like you can't discount that, they've not been the most consistent offense. There's been 3 and outs. Derrick Henry, most of his yards have come on explosive runs. There's not much consistency in that run game. Even in the passing game against the Lions, it was, every so often we find someone open downfield, get a chunk play, but there was no ability to consistently move the ball. And I think that's part of the reason we're seeing Lamar be frustrated, is because his looks just aren't always there. what he wants to do is not always there. And that's not something I want to see, is the offense being frustrated going into a matchup that you typically struggle in the Chiefs. So I don't really like that at all.
I think another thing to watch will be one of the things the Lions did that impressed me so much was their containment of Lamar Jackson. There were a lot of times where he would kind of escape a pocket, but then not like tuck the ball and go. A lot of times because there's a linebacker in pursuit or an edge rusher who kind of was able to get there and get a shoestring tackle, hold him to a couple yards, get it to him behind the line of scrimmage. I'll be interested to see guys like Nick Bolton at linebacker, a very good linebacker for Kansas City. Can he kind of play that role of being sure Lamar Jackson doesn't break off a big 20, 25-yard scramble? And then also that D-line with Chris Jones. George Karlaftis has been playing well this year. Can they do Derrick Henry what the Lions did with that goal line stop where they get him 3 times in a row? And that puts the Ravens in a position where realistically they probably should just run it again with Derrick Henry because of who he is and how unstoppable he has been for the past 8 years. But they don't. They try this fancy play. Lamar Jackson rolls out to the right, and it just implodes. And so if the Chiefs' D-line can hold Derrick Henry, like you said, to that inconsistent, like occasionally he'll break off a big one, not like 60 yards, but like 12, 15. If they can hold him to those kind of inconsistent, a big play, but nothing else really, I think that's a huge win for the Chiefs. I think that sets them up well because, like you said, I don't think the Ravens' defense is going to be able to stop the Chiefs. I do think the Chiefs' defense has a chance at stopping the Ravens.
With that being said, let's pick this game then. Baltimore's favored by 2.5. JP, who do you have?
Kansas City plus 2.5. It's one of my best bets. Mahomes is an underdog. They actually own the Ravens, and I think they're coming off a win. A win is a win is a win.
Yeah.
And the Ravens are coming off a terrible performance, short week as well for the Ravens. I think everything kind of just favors Kansas City being at home. Give me the Chiefs plus 2.5.
Who am I to disagree with the best bet? Plus the fact that the Chiefs own the Ravens, so I'll take Kansas City to cover as well.
Dang, guys. Now, I was going to pick Kansas City, and I'm still going to, but now we're freaking all on the same page. This is just, I mean, unless we have a good week, then it doesn't matter. But last week we all went 1 and 2.
A little burger there on the week 3 pick'em.
And then y'all are all. Wait, that's not right? Why does it say? Oh, because it's that up there is definitely not right. I'll have to fix it later.
Yeah, it's counting them as losses right now.
But only for Jack, not for JP, or only for
I was gonna say not for me.
Only for
It's weird. One of them is
only not for Jack.
Yeah, only not for me.
I'll go in and fix it later. I'm not worried about it right now. Let's do the next game.
Yeah. We get the Micah Parsons homecoming game. The Packers go to the Cowboys. They're favored by 6.5. The Packers are. Thoughts for this game, guys? It's
this
a lot of anti-storylines here.
This is going to be a wild matchup. I cannot wait to see the interactions with Jerry Jones and former teammates, former coach, not Jerry Jones, Micah Parsons. I was thinking about Jerry Jones because I'm about to talk about him in a second, of Micah Parsons interacting with former teammates, former coaches. I would love to see is it when Luka came back? Like there's an interaction with Nico where Luke ignored him or something. Am I making that up?
I think Luka's staring at Nico,
Yes.
and
That's
Nico's
what it
just
was. Okay.
looking off to the side
That's what
and
it was.
trying not to make eye contact.
I would love to get I don't know what, but some sort of interaction or ignoring. That would count as an interaction between Micah and Jerry. Kind of probably unlikely. Oh well, Andrew, you timed it just in time. This is our last game of the day, last preview of the day. So, your Cowboys, we're previewing that right now. Anyway, I would love to get some sort of interaction like that with Micah and Jerry Jones on the field at the same time. I think that would be cinematic. It would be so funny. But yeah, I think that Micah is gonna have a great game. I don't remember. He's been playing full games now since the week 1 on snap limit?
Essentially, he basically did last week. Yeah, he's not really on a snap limit anymore.
Okay.
So now he just kind of rotates how a pass rusher does. They haven't used him any differently than they've just used him on the defensive line. They haven't used him like the Cowboys did, where he's played Mike or Sam at times.
Okay. So he'll be fully participating, which is good. Bodes well for the Packers. I think the thing to see, because the Green Bay Packers offense has been playing poorly, right? This kind of feels like the same matchup in the same way that the Ravens and the Chiefs, like the Chiefs' bad offense needed to take advantage of a bad Ravens defense. I could see Packers fans feeling like the Packers offense needs to take advantage of this bad Cowboys defense, because the Cowboys defense has been atrocious, especially in the secondary. Lack of communication. I meant to ask you about this, JP, because remember a couple weeks ago there was the Diggs touchdown he gave up where it looked like he didn't communicate?
He's given up 3 touchdowns essentially for free.
Right. But there was the one specifically we talked about, and then
Yes.
there was another one this weekend where I guess my point is, like, now it's kind of becoming a trend, it feels like, where he just seems to be checked out. If he's giving up touchdowns like that,
I don't know if I'd classify as checked out, but the way it looks, the Giants ones, they're in cover 3 on the first one that goes to Malik Neighbors. He, for whatever reason, I guess he has the freedom. He's the third guy of the 3 deep safeties. He press coverages Malik. But Malik is lined up in the X on the furthest outside. That means it's one-on-one. He in a cover 3, that's one-on-one. The interior safety does not help there, and he just gets beat deep. And for whatever reason, he stops as the ball's at like the 35, and he stops at about the 10 and turns and looks like he's waiting for a safety to come over and help. That's not how you play cover 3. So I don't know what Trayvon was thinking there. The other touchdown, they're in cover 3 again. He communicates to his interior safety this time, Donovan Wilson,
Gig 'em.
telling him, he's pulling on his jersey saying, "Hey, I need your help inside." That's not how you play cover 3. And so he, for whatever reason, Donovan Wilson doesn't give him the gig 'em thumbs up or anything. He just says, he points like this, and I don't know what they said, obviously, but ball is snapped. Wan'Dale Robinson just runs by Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon's expecting interior safety help as the outside safety one-on-one in cover 3. Doesn't get it, touchdown. I don't know what Trayvon's doing there. And then the Roma Dunze one last week. He just lets Roma Dunze go by him. I haven't gone and watched it in film, so I don't know what happened.
Adunze mentioned basically it was something like Trayvon Diggs slipped, and so Adunze just kept running basically. So maybe that one was a little more just unfortunate, like he slipped, because there was something about the fact that Adunze was basically trying to say he wasn't even supposed to run that route.
Yeah.
But when Trayvon Diggs slipped, he was like, well, this is touchdown, and just talking about how him and Caleb have that chemistry for Caleb to be able to see that as well and hit him.
Interesting.
So
I don't know what's happening there. I don't think it's checking out.
I think it's just bad.
It's just straight up not doing what you're supposed to do.
Maybe he was besties with Micah and he's trying to get himself traded to Green Bay.
Maybe, but
Green Bay doesn't want him.
It's like
He's kind of tanking his stock too much.
It's like, for whatever reason, if you're at Syracuse and you play the 2-3, and you have your 2 guys at the top and you have your 3 guys on the back, though guys on the back that are left and right in the short corners, they have the corner if the ball goes to the corner, not the guy out top. And so it's like, if for whatever reason that guy just didn't go out there and contest a corner 3 and just gave up corner 3. That's essentially what Trayvon did.
Yeah.
In a football case. And I don't understand it. I genuinely don't. And it's not even just him. Their secondary has been doing that as well. It's been specifically him. And we talked about in the past, not us, but it's been talked about in the past, like, Trayvon likes to try to bait quarterbacks.
Yeah.
He's not baiting anybody. He's just letting the guy go by him. So it's not even that
He's
anymore.
playing the long game. He's making quarterbacks think that he's bad, and they're going to watch the tape, and he's going to get 6 interceptions in 2 games.
Well, their Cowboys are 1-2, and they really should have lost the Giants game because of him.
Yeah.
It's a bad look. It's a big story of the Cowboys. They can't stop anybody. They've given 31 points Obviously 34 to the Giants, and then they gave up 27 to the Eagles, but it really could have been more without the weather delay.
Sure.
They've been awful defensively, and so I 100% agree. The Packers better cook.
Yeah.
Like Jordan Love, Matthew
This-
Golden, you better go off.
This is my get Matthew Golden going game. He has 68 receiving yards through 3 weeks. And I guarantee the Packers of all teams did not draft a wide receiver that high for him just to be another wide receiver.
Yes.
He's supposed to become the guy. Let's get it going. This is the perfect game to do so.
He finally last week caught all of the balls that were thrown to him. He had 4 targets, caught all 4 of them, 52 yards. And I would expect them to try to get him going. I would expect them to try to hit shots over the top, clearly, because those are going to
It's
work
pretty easy against the
Cowboys. So I expect that entirely. And defensively, that's been the best unit. They should be 3-0 because of their defense.
Yeah.
But Jordan Love threw a terrible pick at the end of the 4th against Cleveland, and they ended up choking that game. The field goal gets blocked. Bad luck, whatever you want to call it. Their defense has been elite against the Lions and the Commanders when both teams were healthy and had all of their weapons. They did their job against the Browns. They only gave up a touchdown because the Browns started that possession on the 4-yard line.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to shut down Dak. I don't expect that. But I think they'll hold Dak to 14 to 20 points, kind of like the Bears did
Sure.
last week. But I think the Packers win. I think they win big. I think they're going to have another perfect game where
Sure.
they just play it. Well, I guess they haven't had a perfect game where they've played excellent offensively.
This should be another cruise control game, though, offensively,
Agreed, 100%.
where it doesn't really feel like they're trying, and yet they're still moving the ball fairly well.
And I hope Micah doesn't sack Dak.
Fair. Last thing I'll say before we get into the pick'em, the Packers have a lot of offensive line issues. Zach Tom's hurt, among other players, and so I guess the avenue for the Cowboys is if the Packers' O-line, which didn't hold up well at all last week, can't hold up against the Cowboys. Now the difference is it's the Browns' pass rush, and this is the Cowboys' pass rush, so I don't expect that to be an issue. Something to keep an eye on, though.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I was going to ask, what do you expect from the Cowboys offense? I don't think I watched any Cowboys games yet, at least not like in entirety. But from what I've seen, Dak has been playing well and has been kind of let down by wide receivers, especially. And I know this is like I think JP used the word like a month ago, like a Twitter football fan, and so you only see like the stuff that makes it on Twitter.
Yeah.
The George Pickens interception, and so it's just crazy like that people could be mad at Dak for losing games when he's playing well and just kind of constantly let down by his weapons and defense.
Well, and also CeeDee Lamb got hurt now.
Yes, the
so
CeeDee Lamb injury, who will not play this weekend, right? He's out for another couple
Yeah,
weeks.
he's doubtful. I doubt he plays this week. He might play next week. They didn't put him on IR, which is telling, so that they expect him to get back early. The pick last week was like bobbled off Pickens' hands. That was a stupid one.
I don't even know that it went through. It wasn't even bobbled. It was just he
it
put
went-
his
yeah.
hands up and it just
Boop. And then he has had one pick was kind of a classic Dak pick. It was like, Dak, what are you doing? But other than that, I think he's played really, really well. They'll be without Tyler Booker, their left guard, their rookie out of Alabama, which will be key, obviously, against the Packers pass rush. No CeeDee Lamb, obviously. But they've ran the ball well with Javonte Williams. I don't think they'll run the ball well against the Packers offense. I expect a lot of catches and targets for Jake Ferguson and George Pickens. Dak leads the league in check down rate right now. He checks it down roughly 30% of the time.
that number's going to be higher in this game.
Yeah, I expect it to be much higher in this game. So maybe you could still play Javonte Williams in fantasy for that running back receiving threat. But I don't think Dak will get what he wants in this game in any way. I don't think he'll be scared. I don't think he'll play poorly. If he plays poorly, it'll be because the Packers are playing so damn well. I don't think he's going to press himself into too many mistakes.
I think that's fair.
But I don't think it's so hard to think of an avenue for the Cowboys to win this game that's not Jordan Love and the offense not scoring points.
Yeah, Cowboys may need a couple special teams touchdowns too, or something like
Yeah.
that. Green Bay's favored by 6.5. I'm going to take them to cover that.
Same.
Sanders, what? You're okay. You're going to take them to cover. JP.
I'm gonna take Dallas to cover.
Okay.
I think I'm picking it so we don't have another perfect weekend of us having the same picks.
Sure.
But 2, I think the emotions will play a key thing, and I think Dallas will keep themselves in it to some degree. I think they'll backdoor cover is the
Gotcha.
big thing here. I
Yeah.
don't think they'll be in it like fourth quarter, 38-24. They go down and backdoor cover, and I think Dallas will cover. But Green Bay's winning this game.
Cool. What if Dallas wins? We get a little Jerry Jones version of Nico Harrison's "Fortune favors the bold."
Well, we've
That'd be
already
crazy.
That'll
got
be an
that.
insane press conference.
He already said something. I forget what it was.
I missed that. If so,
Hold up. Let me see if I can find it. I swear he said something that I was like, oh my gosh, he just had his.
his Nico Harrison moment.
Yeah.
Well, while you look for that, and before we move,
Oh
on to
no, it was when they drafted Donovan Ezuraku, and so I tweeted like, if Ezuraku turns out to be great, is Jerry Jones going to come out and be like, yeah, we knew all along, that's why we traded Micah.
The book
So-
is still out on Donovan.
Yeah, it has.
that's one of your guys from the draft class.
Yeah,
so
I love Donovan.
as we get into the best bets, I do just want to say my favorite tidbit from the day I saw is the Dolphins have the highest blitz rate in the NFL and the lowest pressure rate in the NFL, which is a tough spot to be in.
That is not
But JP,
not at all where you want to find yourself.
take us away with your best bets. Only 2 of them this week.
No, I've got 3.
Okay.
I just haven't put the third one on there.
Never mind.
It's a
Dis-
surprise.
Disregard.
I've got 3 best bets this week. We'll start with college football though. I'm gonna take Georgia Tech minus 13.5. Georgia Tech is they're top 5 in rushing yards per game. Wake Forest is in the bottom 40 in opponent rushing yards per game. And 13.5 points is not enough points. Georgia Tech is on the road at Wake Forest. Wake Forest lost by 10 last week to NC State, but NC State threw a pick in that game that really kind of allowed Wake Forest to. They did not cover the spread, but get that game to 10 points. I think Georgia Tech is going to cover 13.5, and I think Haynes King, Jamal Haynes, they're going to run the ball all over Wake Forest, control
Cool.
the time of possession like they normally do. And if it was 14, I'm off this, but 13.5 is a perfect spread. I think they win by 2 touchdowns plus. I can't think of many avenues where Wake Forest is really kind of controlling and in this game outside of Haynes King and that Georgia Tech team just fumbling the ball again all of
Sure.
a sudden. I don't think they'll do that. I think Key will have his boys ready and give me the Jackets to cover 13.5. My second one, I have the Dogs minus 2.5. Georgia, that is, not the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Although I would bet Mississippi State minus 2.5 if that line was out there, because I think we're winning this weekend, and I
Okay.
think we'd cover 2.5,
Oh,
and I'd
wow.
probably get some really good odds on that. But I am betting Georgia minus 2.5 hosting Alabama. Again, Alabama's lost 9 of the last 10. Georgia has won 33 in a row at home. Kalen DeBoer in road games. Lost at Vanderbilt. Lost at Oklahoma. Lost at Florida State. Lost at Tennessee. He's just not been good in these games really whatsoever. And this is Georgia. Like, if he wasn't good against Oklahoma with Jackson Arnold offense, Vanderbilt, Diego Pavia, a Nico Imaliava Tennessee team, and Florida State, which we didn't really know what they were yet. We still don't. Book's still out there. 2.5 against Georgia. Yeah, give me the Dogs minus 2.5. I think they're the better team. I think they'll win this game anyway. The fact that this would be a pick'em on a neutral field is insane to me. I don't understand that. I think the spread should be like 5.5. So give me Georgia minus 2.5. And my final one, I'm backing the Chiefs again at plus 2.5 against the Ravens. Mahomes is 7-5 as an underdog. He is 8-3-1 against the spread as an underdog. And so that's well over 50% against the spread. I think they'll cover 2.5. I think they'll win. Like I said, I trust the Chiefs' offense to score a good amount of points this week. And I think Baltimore is going to play it like a playoff game. And because of that, make mistakes and not score points when they need to.
Yep.
Kansas City plus 2.5 to get to 2-2. And the Ravens start the season 1-3. Those are my 3 best bets. Obviously, tail all of my other college football bets and don't touch my NFL bets right now.
Yeah.
Let's have a week though. Let's have a week. Let's go 3-0.
We haven't had a winning week yet, so
This is it.
What are our
Do or die.
current?
Currently, we're 5-10-1.
So much time left.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, so much time.
This is a season-long
It's
endeavor.
very early.
I mean, who says that this is a lifelong endeavor? Who says it has to stop
Very
at the
well
season?
could be.
Sure. All right.
JP's lifelong endeavor to get back above 500.
Well, thank you to all who tuned in and participated in the chat. We really appreciate it. Hope you all enjoyed, and we'll see y'all Sunday to recap the college football weekend. Peace.
See ya.